I do agree with you. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that a lot of these players could get really creative content wise. Just create some fun, make the situation better. I mean, I think that it sucks that they do have to quarantine the way they do. I mean, they can't. I don't think the players, that players can't really hang out with other teams either. When it comes to the food situation, like players can't even go out to enjoy the nightlife in Dallas. I mean, DRIBBLE, man. I mean, it's quite a place. I don't know if you ever been down there, yay, but it's quite a journey down there. But anyway, let's get into the topics tonight. Like I said, the first topic's going to be, does the buddy buddy system still exist in the 2K League? Second topic, we'll jump right into it with just our biggest questions around all the playoff teams. And the last topic is called, can we fix it? Basically, we're going to look at NBA 2K League franchises, and I'm going to ask Ye, and you guys, and I'll have Ye ask me too, basically how we're going to fix these organizations in the offseason. What moves would we make if we were in that head honcho position? Not saying that, like, of course, the guys that are there, they do their thing. You know what I mean? They've done a great job. Out of quarantine tomorrow. That's awesome, Jeff. But I do know there's a lot of limitations for you guys, so I don't know. I'm curious what all the rules are going to be for you guys, but I'm happy for that. At least you guys are out of quarantine. Anyway, let's start this first topic. Stop drafting friends over talent. You played with Idris, yay. What, when you saw this tweet initially, and listen, everyone's seen it. It's no like secret, what it really truly means. I think everyone kind of has an idea, of what happened, and this is nothing. And I think some people, I saw some people get upset about what I said, this is kind of like me, because I quote tweeted it, basically saying talk that talk, and people think that I was coming straight at Majestic, and I just want to clarify, in no way was that aimed to play illy on Majestic, because Majestic's not a bad player. The Kings had more problems than just Majestic. Seam had one of the worst years at shooting guard in the entire league. Mama had an off year in a way because he didn't prep well coming into the league. There's a lot of issues with that team. But like I said, though, I mean, basically the background story of what I've gotten collected information was that Idris expected to be on the Kings. From what I was told through rumors, this is not coming from Idris. This is only rumors. I mean, I'm sure he can verify this, but he did, his priority was to be on the Kings, so he did kind of pass on some organizations to try to go to the Kings, and when they didn't select him, it kind of put him in a hole to where oh, well, you declined my interview, I'm not going to take you. You know what I mean? So that's the risk he played, and that's at the end of the day, it's all on him for that situation. But it is unfortunate that people, an organization can make you feel like that. Oh yeah, I'm going here, and then suddenly you're not there. Let me ask you, Ye. This is this in general, not just this specific situation, but does the buddy buddy system still exist in the NBA 2K League today?
Hey, I don't like using the term buddy buddy. Actually, but season three, I would say yeah, but this year I think a lot more teams were strategic in terms of a good fit, equaling the amount of skill that they needed at the position that was open. So to kind of go into it, I think going into the Kings selection with Majestic there, Majestic has always been a puzzle piece guy. He slid in at the Portland spot. He slid in Miami in multiple positions, got to a finals, and he's not a bad choice there going into season 4. So I'm not mad at them selecting that pick. But if you in terms of the other teams and going off of buddy buddy, I was kind of telling you before the show started that if you're comparing apples to apples, because you're looking for one position most times, most guys will get mad if you draft somebody other than the position that you needed. So say if they needed a point guard there in Sacramento and Idris a power forward, he wouldn't get mad that they drafted a point guard. Mm-hmm. So so when you're going off for compare apples to apples, position to position, you got to look at what fits and what matters, what talent can this person bring. So if they're both equaling out, you're going to choose the person you know over the possibility of dealing with a personality that you don't know.
Yeah.
That person that you don't know, they have to check all the boxes. So when we tell what I've been telling guys in DMs, how to make the league, I'm you have to check the boxes. That's the most important thing that comes first. And checking the boxes for each team is different. So if you're checking all the boxes, like you're marketable, your skill set is solid, like you can play this position, you can get along with good teammates. You check all the boxes. At that point, it's like you did everything you can do to control. And if they still choose the guy that they feel like they know the most, that guy probably checked the boxes most times in terms of like the way the league looks season 4. Because going into season 4, we thought a lot of these teams looked stacked. We were kind of like questioning like what team is going to be bad. So we were picking teams that were going to be bad based on personalities.
Yep.
Like I picked the Nets going to be bad because based off chalk and shots going
Yep.
at it, and they ended up being good. So it was like I'm like, yo, we didn't know who was going to be bad this year, other than like the Lakers.
Yeah.
But like even the Lakers, I was like, man, but like they can surprise us. So like I think the buddy was not a big factor this year. I think Idris is more of like on personal vendetta because Idris is Idris. This is our 4th year dealing with Idris. We know Idris, so like I won't take anything Idris says to heart.
I mean, I think that when I look at this entire situation, I mean, I think that they're definitely like, you know, Idris's history, like he doesn't have like, I don't think it's a bad reputation. I just think that it's the perception, like he has changed as a, you know, his character definitely has changed over the year in a better direction, in my opinion. I think that some people just like, ooh, hang on, my bad. Once people get a certain conception of a player, it's kind of hard to kind of get out of that type of like perception of you. So I think that people just look at how he was, like back in the past, and that's kind of just forever, kind of like one of those things that will always follow him in a way. I personally don't think that he should have gone undrafted based on how the draft went. Because coming into this, like there's all these excuses on why he didn't get drafted, or like, you know, and again, everyone has their guys coming into the draft, right? You know, everyone, you know, you see people tweet after the draft, oh, we got all our guys. You know what I mean? It's not, you know, but like Idris, I don't think has any bad relationships with anything. I don't think that he's this like really bad person that's like done anything like beyond messed up. I think that he's just the person that, in a way, he's very competitive. He can let his personality kind of come out and come off in the wrong way to certain people. And some people, everyone reacts differently to the way, you know, how someone talks to you. Like, back in the day, you know, and this comes back to Dave Fry. Dave Fry was always looked at as, like, this very toxic and, you know, toxic player. And, you know, he was looking at he was at a danger point at one point. Back, you know, in season 2, you know, when he was pushed off, you know, pushed basically out of Dallas, and he went to the Wizards. I mean, it didn't look good for him. You know what I mean? Like if Dave Fry didn't do what he did, who knows where Dave Fry would be at this point? But because he won that title, ultimately we have a different light on Dave Fry, and I think that like our perception changed. It takes a lot to really change the perception of you, you know, in this community. So I think that I will say that I agree with you on the word buddy buddy. It's not the best terminology when it comes to things. But I will say that I definitely think some people do weigh too heavily on their relationships with people. And I think that in the offseason, players' jobs is to grow relationships with multiple people, not just like a small group of people. Like you should, like we're not like this big community. We're this small community. So like it shouldn't be that hard for us to all get to know each other in a way, or just like to play with each other. Like it's not like in the offseason we don't have time to do that. Like there's like people have the time, like, and I know that Idris, you know, he didn't play as much in the offseason too, so that's on him. Like, but he did play. Like, I know he played. I saw him here and there. I didn't see him consistently. I don't know if he was playing in the dark or something like that. Maybe not on stream. But either way, like, for, you know, there are definitely a lot of teams this year that picked relationships. Like, look at the Bucks this year, right? The Bucks, every pick basically for the Bucks was some type of relationship pick. Like, you know, oh, this is my guy, or, you know, this is his guy. You know what I mean? Each person basically, in a way, got their guy, and then look what happened to the Bucks. You know what I mean? And we've seen it with the Celtics in the past. You know what I mean? Like, this year, I think the Bucks kind of fell victim to it. They were a very, very, like, I hate to say it, they were a very buddy-buddy team. Like that's probably the most buddy team in the entire league this year, and it showed how bad it was. Like, that's the way the buddy-buddy system is going to die, is as these buddy-buddy teams get bad, you see what happens. But I will agree with you, this probably has been one of those years to where the buddy-buddy system, or the, you know, like, this the idea of, like, picking relationships over talent has kind of gone down. But I will say it does exist. And, you know, if anyone's going to sit here and tell me that the Bucks are not a buddy-buddy team, then you're wild. Like, you're crazy. And also, let's be honest, that whole Bohio pick and it comes down to relationships. Ohio had relationships with players on that team that got him there. The thing is, he got there on a position that he didn't even play in pre-draft like that. Like in the obviously in the FIBA tournament, he balled out whatever at the position, but mainly in the idea was he was going as shooting guard, and this guy got picked to be a point guard because of his relationships with a certain individual on that team. So it's like that's a buddy pick, like regardless. Like there was definitely better point guards on the board at that point that you could have selected. Like you can't sit here and tell me differently about Ohio. Even if you know Ohio like that, there was still better talent out there at that point. So but that ultimately led to their downfall, right? Like I think that like Ohio worked. I don't even know what that means. Like Glenn.
He proved this. He brought his stock back up. Ohio brought his stock up, but not at PG. Not at PG.
Yeah, he could have been a shooting guard
next year.
But I'll be honest with you, and then maybe people disagree. I think Glenn Ratty had a better pre-draft than Ohio, and Glenn went undrafted. Like, and the only difference was relationships. Like that should not like. I get it. You want to go with someone you're familiar with, but there's no reason why you shouldn't be familiar with most of the people in this community by now. I just feel like that's a little overplayed. Like that record scrap. Like look how many times relationships can like backfire on teams. You know what I mean? Like that whole Lakers pick is a relationship pick, and it backfired. Like let's be real. And the same thing with the Bucks. All close relationship picks, and it backfired. So. And I just think that that's the issue with a lot of these, some of these teams. I'm not gonna say a lot of them anymore because I think a lot of them have kind of gone in that direction. Like you're seeing some interesting groups of people being put together now. You know what I mean? It's all different, people from different backgrounds. But I think that's the right direction. I think that it's good for the league that we are getting away from that ideology of buddy buddy. But again, I think that hopefully as we keep going, that dies. But I do still think it does exist in the 2K League. Yeah.
I think it does exist. I want to challenge you because you said something earlier about Dave Fry, like he had a bad stigma because he was toxic, and then he won a championship, and then was kind of lifted in a way. But you gotta understand, Idris is the one that kind of set this conversation together. Idris led the trend of winning a championship first, and same thing with Goofy, where he got a bad segment for being toxic, and they won championship, and they're still being cruised in the community for being toxic in certain lights. So, what difference is there between Dave Fry, Goofy, and Idris that where we give Dave Fry, the credit, and he's like, oh, he's not really toxic, he's just passionate. We don't give that to Idris and Goofy.
I think the difference is that it's about who talks in this community. It matters. Dave Fry, I think, is with a different group compared to the Idris and Goofy. I think Idris and Goofy have a different type of circle compared to a Dave Fry. I think also Dave Fry did a better job on social media of kind of showing that change and that perception. I think he kind of worked on it and it was more publicly known. I think Idris's was a lot different because from what Idris told me is he did take some anger management classes. He did kind of work on himself in private, but he didn't really show that in a public image, and the public never changed their perception because he never really showed that on a big on a wider scale of what his change his improvements have. So I think that Idris kind of kept it more in-house with what he was doing compared to Dave Fry, who I think that I'm not saying Dave Fry was out here saying guys, I'm a new man, but I think just the way he was reacting to things, you saw just the way he was talking to his teammates, just in general, I think Dave Fry has just done a better job of creating relationships, and those relationships kind of stem out into other conversations. Yeah, Dave Fry's a great okay, he makes friends with all his teammates, and then his teammates are going to talk good about him to other, to their groups. And I think just the word got passed around better with him compared to, Idris and even Goofy. Yeah, Goofy gets this perception of, just this, it's not I feel like a lot of them just get this bad perception of themselves. I think Goofy has gotten better. He's a competitor. You know what I mean? I think that season 1 Goofy is a lot different than season 4 Goofy. I mean, let's remember this is basically 4 years ago now. You know what I mean? We're I hate to say it, we're getting older. I'm turning 25 in 2 months, so I think that Goofy has gone through a lot more maturing, and that's how it should be, right? When you're younger, okay, you do some things that maybe weren't the best, and as you get older, you mature and you learn. I think Dave Fry just matured a lot sooner and kind of was able to present that better to the community, in my opinion. But
Yeah, it's a fair statement.
I think though, anyway, like I said, the buddy buddy system, it's or this, like I said, well, I got to find a better word than that. I just think the relationships, it's still playing too heavy into a lot of things, and I think that players in the off season need to do a better job of getting to know everybody and not just like a small core of people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the fact that like you should like Dave Fry. If you remember Dave Fry back last year, he was playing with Jack. He played with freaking Reg. He was playing with so many different point guards before he drafted Jack. So like he got to go get to know those players. You know what I mean? On the court and probably off the court. So I think more teams need to do that. Like with their players, they need to do a better job of getting to know people before they kind of like put judgment over somebody else. Because I like I said, like I mean, none of those players from what I know from my information, Crazy didn't have much say in a lot of things that happened in LA this year, and that's kind of part of there was kind of a divide in their locker room going on. So I mean, to be real with you, I think too that like the fact that like I'm sure Crazy didn't approve of that pick. Like I'm sure Crazy wasn't like, yes, I want Ohio. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that that's like his decision. So I think that there was multiple problems stemming there. It's just that I think that they'll improve moving forward. But anyway, I want to see I see a lot of writing in the chat. I don't know what's being said in the chat.
I'm trying to show a follow right now, but I have been hearing what you've been saying. One thing I definitely got to say, I know like with the whole buddy buddy thing, like we got to stop like really like I don't know, giving it like kind of like a shaming like kind of like language when it comes to like going buddy buddy. 'Cause, like most things in the world, like most things worth having in the world, like is going to be through relationships. And like and again, like of course, like a lot of these guys are younger and they want to get into the league, and of course, like at the time that might be the goal. Bro, this chat is funny.
I know. That's why I'm smiling, bro. Like, what's going on in my chat right now, bro? Yo.
Hey, Follow's fired up. Hey, but I was saying, like, buddy buddy's not really a thing in the league, but at the same time, like, it's a relationship business. Like, most things in the world are. Like, the 2K League, like I was saying plenty of times before, it shouldn't be an end goal thing. It's just be like, hey, I would love to come up with my friends and build a brand with my friends. And, like, if it happens to start in the league, it does. And another thing that you know that a lot of cats don't know, that a lot of these teams don't care about winning. I mean, in terms of, like, it's not highest on the totem pole in terms of importance. So, like, if you want to come in with your friends, if you want to bring your friends on, I want to see you guys make some fucking bread together. Because then, if you're losing games, make some money. So it's like, okay, like you brought your guys in, but like you turned now you got fans when you're losing instead of like just when you're winning. And I think that's important too, but that's a whole different topic. But like in terms of like the relationship side of things, like people are gonna choose people that they like got they have conversations with and like know their goals and they know their mindset over like the people who just got stick. Because we've seen people who got stick who just don't care when it's time to put it into fruition. Like, look what happened with Juan, bro. Like, Juan got stick, and everybody took a chance on him twice.
I can't.
And he got kicked out the league. So, like, I'm not saying that's a very rare. Like, I'm not saying one exception makes a rule, but like things like that happen. So, like, I'd rather take a chance on the guy that I know because like, if I'm in the league and if I'm one of these teams, I'm probably picking Idris at power forward because I know Idris, and I'll be able to deal with Idris too because I've dealt with him. Me and Idris almost fought a few times. Like, I know Idris more than most people in the league to this day, and I've been out the league for 2 years, and I would pick Idris over most power forwards because I know him. But like in his mind, he's like, yo, I got the most stick. But like it's a relationship business at the end of the day. Like people are gonna choose their boys over you because they know them. Yeah. They know what they're gonna get out of them, or they know what they can help them. Like know what type of potential they can help them reach.
Yeah.
So like at the end of the day, that's just how the world works.
Yeah, I mean,
you guys understand that.
I agree. I mean, I definitely think it's a fair point. I mean, you're not gonna pick some just random guy that you've never even kind of talked to. But at the same time, I think we do need to expand out more to like creating racial relationships because I feel like in order for this league to grow, like we need to go out there and seek that new talent. You know what I mean? Like because I feel like we're getting ready to hit the cycle of just the same group of people constantly getting recycled around. Like some teams need to win in this league. There's teams that have never truly won in this league. So like some organizations need to step it up. You know what I mean? And like it's looking like some orgs are going to start dominating the league. Like right now we have. T-Wolves and the Wizards are both #1 seeds. You know what I mean? Like, this is two former champions. Like, we have an opportunity right now for an organization to be a 2-time champion. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you're starting to see the hierarchy of like organizations that are getting trapped, that are going to get trapped underneath because they're not going to be able to ever get above those other teams. Because like, it's just one of those situations. Like, I think that, you know, the organizations that are consistent right now, you got the Blazers who've never missed playoffs. You got the Wizards who now, I mean, they're 3 for 4. The Warriors are 3 for 4. The T-Wolves are 2 for 3. Like, you're getting these organizations now that are consistently now being at the top, and my fear now is like, okay, like now we need to go start finding the new superstar, like that new guy to be the, you know, to be good, because like we can't bring old players in because that's not going to work. We have to find that new talent, and so like that's my thing. Like for those organizations that are up at the top, it's different. Like, but for the organizations that need to make a jump and kind of build their way up the ladder, like you're not going to find a lot of 630s out there. You know what I mean? Like, the Pacers are if the Pacers did not make that pick, no, like, let's be honest, the Pacers would be stuck at the bottom for the next couple of years. Like, if they didn't make that pick this year, they would have been in a very big situation. But now they have after 4 years, they finally have their franchise BG, and now that organization is appealing for players to come to because 630's there. Like, so let's be honest. Like, before, people didn't want to go to the Pacers because of how bad it's been over the years and like the whole situation. So, but now the 630's there, it's appealing for players to go there because, you know, again, you know, 630 is a former talent that kind of came back, but like we need to keep finding that new talent to make my destination more appealing, so players will kind of want to come over to me to join me and my team. You know what I mean? Because like that's what's going to come down to now is like all right, I don't want to go play for your team because you have nobody there. You know what I mean? Like I want to go win some bread. Like I want to go jump on a team with the T-Wolves because like the T-Wolves got a lottery pick, man. The T-Wolves got like, you know what I mean? Like the T-Wolves are the team to be on at this point, man. Like with the way it's looking. But anyway, we're gonna move on to the playoff segment. Let me just flip over to the bracket. We're gonna talk about the biggest questions for every NBA 2K League playoff team. So let me see. Do you have the bracket pulled up for yourself, or would you like to?
I can find it real quick.
It's right on the NBA 2K League Twitter.
Yeah.
So we've already kind of like, you know, given our thoughts on where things are going to stand, but now we're going to kind of talk about like the biggest questions around each team. And I think we'll start in the East because I think the West is a lot more interesting. I think there's a lot of new players this year. I do agree, Jeff. I think that there is a lot of new people coming in. I just think that it should be a lot more by now. Like we're in the 4th season. Like I feel like that pool of players should be expanded. Like it should be a lot bigger than it is currently, in my opinion. But you know, I think that it's getting there. Like there's definitely people out there, Jeff. But I just think that at certain positions, like we are going to see some people that are going to constantly get recycled. But that's the beauty of this league. I mean, that's how the NBA is. Like, do you know how many times I've seen freaking JaVale McGee like recycled to so many different teams? Like, there's a lot of NBA players that get recycled. But I do want to see a larger pool of, you know, new talent. You know what I mean? Like just people that like no one's ever seen before. Like start discovering new talent. But that also comes down to not just the players, but obviously GMs and coaches, you know, to find those new talents too. But anyway, let's start off with Nets. So, when it comes to the Nets, you know, this is a team that's a high-scoring team. Their defense absolutely, I mean, sucks. Like, it's going to be bad. But what do you think is the biggest question mark around Nets GC?
The thing is are they going to get enough stops? That's the biggest question mark. And that's been the question mark all year. So, like, we know against the Sixers team, like, how Walnut's really going to come. You see how he had the Quarantine Chronicles, and he's ready to hoop. And then Dre had a fantastic rookie year. I know it was in the shadow of 630, but he had a really good rookie year, especially in this the way they revamped that team. And it's still a team to be reckoned with. But at the end of the day, the Nets is the higher seed, but I think the Sixers are the favorite in this series, and only because of stops. Ooh. I think just underrated go, and Walnut's going to give you enough stops. But the Nets just like they're just going to outscore cats. So like I think they're going in with the James Harden like ran Houston Rockets D'Antoni offense. We're going to outscore teams. We don't care about defense. We're going to outscore teams. If they got outscored the Sixers, fine. But like we're going like playoff basketball, I'm going to take the Sixers.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest thing with this series, as long as Dane secures the boards, because let's be honest, the Nets are going to throw up a lot of shots, right? And they're going to try to get a lot of second chance points. As long as the Sixers can limit that, and Walnut's a good, Walnut will be a good rebounder. Like I think that him and Shots are going to kind of have a battle. But I do agree with you. I mean, the biggest question is what can Walnut do in the series? But the biggest question for me is what is A. Rooks going to do? Because A. Rooks, I mean, he had a slow year. You know what I mean? This has been a slow year, but he looks like he's been, getting a little better towards the end of the year. So the biggest question for me is what is A. Rooks' impact going to be in this entire game? Because if A. Rooks, starts, getting hot and plays well, I don't see any chance that the Nets win the series. But at the same time, I mean, all it takes for the Nets is for Chalk to just get if the Nets are up like in a game and Chalk is talking smack, like it's gonna be hard to take Chalk out of the game because Chalk is I think Chalk's gonna be great on stage. Who do you think will be the stage MVP in this series? Like, what player do you think like their stage presence is gonna be very impactful? I have a player in mind, but I'd like to hear yours first.
Man, that's a really good question. In terms of like just being like skilled and like take over a game, or like being like a talker and
well, like let's be honest, like that talking is a factor on the stage. Like the way you can talk and mentally check out the other team, because there's going to be players on each team that are going to get mentally mind fucked by players, like because they're not used to, like Chalk was joking the other day on Spaces, like Chalk was like, yeah, I'm gonna miss the first couple shots, and Walnut's gonna be like, hey, yeah, you're not the MVP or whatever, some bullshit like that. Like, like it was funny, but like my thing is like when it comes, who's the player that you think will get the most rattled on these two teams? Actually,
the most rattled. I probably gonna have to go with the safe pick and go with Dre, just because new cat, never been on the stage. I think he's a good player, but I don't know. They might have some barkers over there in Brooklyn. I know Chalk is gonna get up and say something. I don't think Dante's really gonna say anything. I don't think Faiz is gonna get up and say anything. Shots is pretty cool, but I think Warner's gonna have his back. But if it's anybody's got to be a point guard. So I'm gonna have to say Dre as a safe pick. It could be Dante.
I do agree.
They're gonna attack Dante, I think.
I do agree with you on the point guard, but you know who I think can get really rattled if you get him in the wrong. Like if the Nets go down by 10, we all know who's gonna be the most rattled in the Nets. That's gonna be Chalk. Because I think that if the Sixers win Game 1, it's a 2-0. That's how I look at it. Because I think that what's gonna happen is that let's say the Sixers come out hot, right? Dre is fucking shooting like 4 for 4 from 3. Chalk is like 1 for 3. You know what I mean? Chalk is gonna be he could be mentally checked out early if the Sixers can just come out hot and just basically just pound down the. I'm not gonna say this because it's gonna get clipped, but like I said, if I was gonna go more into that, but I hate this. I know this community will clip the hell out of me, but like I said, if the Sixers can come out hot early in this series, I mean, I think they can mentally check out Chalk. I think Chalk can become the most rattled player on the court. But then you play on the devil's advocate. On the other hand, I think that when it comes to the Sixers, I mean, I think A. Rooks will be fine. I do understand why you say Dre, but I also don't think I think Dre is a lot more composed. Like, I don't think he's gonna be like one of these people that is gonna get like kind of like shut down. Like I think that he'll definitely have his struggles, but I mean, I really think it comes down to like if Chalk's going off, guess who's going to be feeling the most rattled? It's going to be the lockdown. So I honestly think it could be Eli personally, because if Chalk has got 30 fucking points and he's freaking hooping on him, dunking on Eli's going to feel rattled because he knows it's his fault. You know what I mean? Like it's like if like that's the thing. Like the person who can become rattled is basically like who's getting blamed, right? Because a player, like if you miss a shot, I don't think people understand when you miss a shot on stage, and I'm sure you know this more than anybody. If you miss a shot on stage, your heart starts getting heavy. Your chest gets a little heavy. You're just like, oh man, that's a big shot. You know, that was I missed a big shot there. You know what I mean? Or when you knock down a big shot and you're like your heart starts beating, you're like, oh yeah, because like people don't realize, man, this is money, man. This is big money. Like yes, everyone's walking away with some money already, but it jumps up a lot. Champ picked my boy. Chick one. What is
Pick one, my boy. He said pick one.
I already said it's gonna be Eli, but on the other side it could be Chalk. Those are my two. All right. But anyway, let's move on to the actually, who was your stage? Who would you say is going to have the biggest stage presence? Like talker, you know what I mean? Biggest trash talker that can honestly be an X factor in the series, yeah.
For this series, shoot, it's probably gonna be Walnut. Honestly, Walnut, but he even had that build down for like two years now. He's a little, he's a little more mature now. He's not as petty as he was season one. But hey, knocking that. Laying that bitch up on the opposite side of the backboard to do that to you. That man is a grown man now. He's saying he's in boy's ear. I want to see what he says to Chalk, so I'm gonna have to go with Walnut.
Yeah, I appreciate the sub, Frank. I do agree with you. You know, I'm gonna agree with you on Walnut. I think that he is gonna be that. I think Walnut is gonna be able to rally the troops. Honestly, I think that he's gonna be. I think he's really gonna be able to rally the troops and kind of keep his team like together. You know what I mean? Like when there's struggles. That man, I've listened to him talk the way he used to be on that Blazers team. He's going to keep that team mentally checked in. So I think that he's going to be that X factor. He's going to be really important when it comes to communication, trash talk. He looks locked in, man. I mean, we saw him, you know, he had a glass. He's just chilling. He's like, he's dedicated, man. He's ready, and I'm happy for him. But let's move on to the next series. Grizz versus Knicks. This is your Knicks team, man. You know.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Hey, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna stop you right here. Is follow still in the chat? follow. Somebody tag follow real quick. See if he's still in the chat. I got words to follow. It's gonna be a long Thursday for that boy. Follow the God, man. It's gonna be a long Thursday for that boy. Hey, I'm gonna have to go Aquaberry in a minute because King Quack is ready to tap that ass, boy. We just worried about the Wizards. We just worried about the Wizards at this point. Follow. I'm gonna need a championship performance out of you, game one, series one, out of you. Y'all been coasting. Y'all was sliding a little bit toward the end of the year. Yes, we had Harris coming into the stream talking about man Grizzlies are folding and all this stuff. I'm like, yo, like chill the Grizzlies. And then I found out they had the Knicks in the. Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, I love the Grizzlies going into this tournament, but hey, it's nothing personal. Follow I just want to make sure you get a nice go to Lush, get you a nice little bubble bath ready because it's gonna be a long Thursday, boy.
You tell him. So you're basically how much? All right, over under. What is this at? Let me look at what Duck's average is real quick. What is that?
It's the over. I don't even care what it is.
It doesn't matter what
it don't matter. It could be 40. It's over.
Oh,
it's the over.
Let me pull up these stats real quick. I gotta see.
Authentic can't save you forever. Follow.
Ooh.
That triangle can't save you forever.
Ooh. Get a little spicy. I
like this. He said damn for real.
I like this. So. I want to see Duck stats.
Hey, talk to him, Glow Fadu. Come on.
So let's go. Duck is averaging 26.7 points per game. Over under, is he getting over that 26 yay?
Over. He's getting
over.
He might get it in the half. I don't know.
Oh damn! In the half?
We talking about King Quack and personnel. So Follow don't know what that stage look like. All the bright lights will hit him in the face.
Is his hands going to be shaking? Is he going to be sweating?
Authentic. And Vandy gonna have to talk to him like, hey, yo, it's good. You good? Spartan gonna have to rub his back a little bit. Like it's. I'm saying, man. Hey, he gonna have to clip me, bro. He gonna have to clip me up because it's gonna be a long Thursday.
So let me ask you this. I think you think Follow is going to be the most rattled at this point on stage. Like that's our most rattled player in this series, right? I feel like that's it. But what is your biggest question around Grizz Gaming on a serious note? What is your biggest question around them? Like for me personally, it's are we gonna get Vandy? Like, you know what I mean? What's gonna happen with Vandy? You know what I mean? Like, is Vandy gonna show up on the stage? Like, because I personally, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't see a chance in hell the Grizz are gonna win this series, and they're the 3 series. They're the 3 seed. I'm gonna take that bold take. You know what I mean? Like I'm used to getting clipped at this point. You know what I mean? The Blazers are coming for my neck, man.
Hey, I was low-key trolling, but
No,
hey, but yeah, hey, I like the question though, because I think Authentic gonna be the most ready out of anybody. It's his fourth year, like you know what the stage look like. He put up 80 on the stage, so like Authentic's gonna be ready to go. But in terms of like how Vandy's gonna play, I think Vandy's gonna play his game. Vandy, he had some ups and downs. He had a really strong start of the year and kind of slowed down toward the end, but it depends on what kind of headspace he's in going into the series. Like, if he's like, if his mental's right and he's ready to go, Vandy's a dangerous man. But if he, you know what I'm saying, he's just even like the smallest like hiccup in the beginning of a game, like that can really show like the result of the entire game itself. Like if he has a slow start, like that might be it. And then they're gonna have to rely on follow to get stops, and you know how that's gonna go. So like, Vandy gonna have to, and then you got to understand like Chet's been kind of hooping lately too. So Chet's gonna have to pick up some of that slack. So in terms of like the Grizzlies gonna really come, it's really gonna come off of how good is Vandy gonna start. If Vandy starts well, I think they're straight. It's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a fight. If not, I might Knicks might run away with that thing 2-0.
So who do you think is going to have the strongest stage presence? Like, you know, how we talked about with Walnut. Who is going to be it in this series?
The Knicks Grizzlies, who's going to be the most talkative? Like, who's going to talk the most? Who's going to bark the most?
Basically, but there's a difference between, like trash talk that can pull a team out of a game and trash talk that will actually impact this game in a positive way to help a team win a game. So who
it's gonna be a quiet series. It's gonna be a quiet series for both teams. I think if Follows hooping, he's gonna talk. If Follow and Chess together, I think they'll talk. And then on the other end, it might be Czar, but Czar is funny, so I don't know.
I know.
I think this is gonna be who's the funniest. I don't think it's gonna be actual like trash talkers. Both gonna be
we're definitely gonna have some like funny, cringy people out of body trying to trash talk in Dallas that don't trash talk. They're gonna try it because we remember in season 1 in the beginning, like how some people tried trash talking and then it disappeared. Like some people,
it was funny. Yeah, it was cringy.
But like,
it's like watching Merck trash talk in UPA.
Oh man, that's kind of over. I feel that's kind of like the vibes like getting the series though. Like I think it's gonna be a bunch of Mercs. You know what I mean? We're gonna get a bunch of Merc trash talkers.
Hey Merc, he got the boys fired up though, so he was doing the right thing. It was funny, but he was doing the right thing.
But I mean, I like I said, you can book it now. I don't think Grizz Gaming has a chance in hell to win this series, personally. I will book it now. I think Grizz Gaming is going to get first rounded. They're going to be packing their bags. They're going to be getting ready to go home, man. That's all I'm going to say. But, you know, Knicks Gaming in 2.
Hey, I might have to throw my jersey on. Where my jersey at?
But I mean, I think that with the Knicks, though, I think there'll be a little trash talk. I think Nate and Malik are going to be kind of like a little like they're going to kind of drive off each other's energy. I think this. You got to remember, this is the first time we've been back together in 2 years. Some of these boys are going to be hyped to be back together, like talking trash. So, like that's definitely going to play a factor, especially in the early series. I think as we go further in, I think teams are going to be more locked in as we go further in. I feel like as we get further in, teams aren't going to talk as much trash. I think in the beginning, people are going to want that energy. They're going to feel that, that energy to just be back on the stage. So, like, I think you're going to see a lot from Malik. I think you'll see Nate. I think that combination, those two are kind of, they're going to be the biggest voices on that team. I'm not saying there's going to be a lot of trash talk, but that's where the energy is going to be. And I think that's the difference with the Knicks. I think the Knicks are going to be able to bring more energy, which is going to kind of help them with momentum. But it's all about having a good start, right? If the Knicks start out down 10 points, you can't. It's hard to talk trash when you're down.
Yeah,
so it's all about where you're situational in the game. So again, the Knicks I think are going to bring a lot of energy. I think the Grizz are going to struggle at some points. I think that Vandy will play solid. I think he'll have a couple glimpses of good gameplay. But I think that ultimately, I think the Knicks are just going to be a stronger team in this series, and they're going to advance.
Yeah, man. Especially if that boy Duck is on that like trucker hat Cuda timing, it's a different.
Hang on, let me
different story, man.
Sliders.
Yeah.
But listen, man, I think the craziest thing about this year, and I already said it before, we have 3 former championship organizations in the tournament right now. So there is a chance that somebody walks away with a two-time title champion. We have a 3-12 chance or something like that, or what is it? No,
25% chance.
Yeah,
somebody. It could be Idris from the Pistons. It could be Nate from the Knicks. It could be the
Oh
Wizards.
wow,
Could be the
I forgot about that. That's a
T
good point.
Wolves.
That's a good point. I didn't even
There's
think
some
about
bodies
that.
in here that can get their second.
Wow, that's a lot. There's actually quite a few actually in here.
33% chance
Wow,
of somebody getting their second ring.
that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So my question though is, are they the greatest player at their position? Then I'm not saying the league, because like let's be honest, you could be a role player on a team, but like if you're a two-time champion, are you considered like the S tier at your position? Like you have more rings, you know what I mean? Like we talk about in sports all the time. Like you get the LeBron and freaking Jordan conversation, all you hear is about rings.
Nah, because are we saying that about Danny Green? Like, no, no one's saying that. No, you just know you're just really good at buying into your role.
Mm-hmm.
You bring a lot to the team on and off the court. You know what your role is. And like, I'm about to be the best possible to put my team in a winning situation at this role. Mm-hmm. Am I the best in the league? No, like you might get the credit for it, but like, you know, at the end of the day where you are skill wise, but you know, like in terms of value that I'm bringing this team, I might be the S tier of bringing value to an organization. But in terms of like skill level at a tier, no, I don't think so. That's me. That's me.
All I know is I don't want to see. I can't only imagine Idris' face if he was holding 2 rings. I know you'd be sitting there like, oh, this kid, you'd be happy for him, but you know he'd be on Twitter just like this.
Keeping it real though. I'm not. If Nate wins a championship, I'm not saying Nate's the best lock in the league. And I love Nate to death. Hey, year 1 when he was boxing up the 5 out. I mean the 5 out. I'm sorry, I'm calling my own brand and shit. But if he was boxing up the 5 out, like he put a lot of time into that Heat series, and he was still getting Hot Shot was still giving him work. Yeah, he just figured him out. He just got enough stops. That's all we care. We didn't care about boxing him. We just need enough. We're gonna score the ball.
Yeah,
we just needed enough. So like if he comes out, like Nate, everybody in the chat that's a Knicks gaming and know how Nate talks, he says a whole lot of nothing. And it makes sense. It's weird. So, like, he's gonna.
I hate because I know what you're talking about. Like, it doesn't. Anyway, some people might
he's gonna be like, all right, guys, and he's gonna slow everybody down, and he's gonna talk, and it's gonna make no sense. But you're gonna be like, okay, like I'm with it. You're gonna fire you up in a way.
Sure,
And he's gonna go out and do it. He's gonna put the homework in. He's gonna get you enough stops. All we talk about is enough. And at that point, takes the pressure off him, takes the pressure off the defense, and Glow and Czar and those guys dropping and swinging. And it puts the pressure on Duck and Malik and those guys and Glow on the offensive end. If he gets enough stops, he's preaching on them boys on getting me enough buckets. And like, if it somehow works out for them being a championship, that's going to be the reason why. Amen. It's not because Nate is going to be like, hey, I'm about to give you a limited stop, so to score a rock. He's not going to do that. He's going to give you enough of them shits.
Hey man, Nate. I mean, playoff Nate, man. That's what maybe we'll see that. But anyway, let's move on to the next series. Warriors versus Pistons. So, obviously, this is I think this can go either way. So, Champ, do you think Glow is gonna get rattled? Yeah, I mean, I think he might get a little shook. Nah, I honestly think the Knicks are gonna. I think they're gonna run around with the series, man. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think they're ever gonna get shook in this series. Maybe down the line when they play the Wizards, they're gonna get a little shooken up. But I think that this series, I just don't see any way in hell that the Grizz win. So I think that they're not going to get shook at all. They're going to be fine the entire series. So I just don't think that's going to happen. So Pistons versus Warriors. Now this is a very I think this is one of the best first round matchups in my opinion. Like don't get me wrong, I think that Jazz Blazers is interesting, but this is I think this is the kind of one of the closest matchups we could probably get in the entire tournament. Like with these two teams, I think that the Warriors could easily, because playoff Keenum, man, this guy plays in tournaments. He's played historically good in tournaments. The Warriors have improved over time throughout the season, in my opinion. They've definitely had some hiccups here and there, but as a team, they've gotten a lot better. I mean, Chaos is if you look at efficiency-wise, he is one of the most efficient power forwards out there. He's been having a pretty good season. Keena, I think the biggest thing is Keena showing up. That's my biggest question. What Keena are we going to get? Are we going to get CB13 or are we going to get playoff Keena? You know what I mean? It's
right.
So, I mean, what is your biggest question with the Warriors, Ye?
I said this in the beginning of the year. Warriors, they were kind of splitting series, and they're looking a little uncertain beginning of the year with the dynamic changing, getting Beast move out of there, bringing in Antoine, having the guy that drafted a lot to go to center. It was a little weird coming in, but one thing that I think a lot of the content creators and people doing these shows thought was the whole year was that we can't count Keena out. You know what I'm saying? We can never count a Keena ran team out.
Never.
So I'm kind of having that same debacle with this series because the Pistons, but at the same time, on the same side with the Pistons having so many different roster changes and people switching from power forward to sharp and bringing in new guys and flying them back to Michigan to load up and play. And they finally got a roster, and Greenlight's coming back, and he's getting his feet back wet, and he's getting back into the swing of things. It's like, man, like what are the Pistons gonna like when they have a set roster? So it's like it's hard to really choose what is gonna work. So because but if I really had to pick on what the Warriors, in order of Warriors, the big reason I think they will go away with this. Is one Keenan showing up, and then I think Antoine not getting rattled because even in the remote play, people have been getting on Antoine. The 2K League is like, yeah, he's been shooting. Like I give him a little slack because he gets the grenades and he puts them up, and that's just the way they run. But like all them people saying like, oh, he needs a Snickers and I see Idris and then Rainbow getting up like he needs a Snickers, like what I'm saying, like I want to see what that happens to what that does to Antoine mentally.
Oh man, that's a good question. So who do you think is going to get the Snickers in this series? Who do you think is going to be that Snickers player? I think
it's going to be Antoine, bro, and I love Antoine as how diverse he is and how versatile he is in terms of a pro-am player. They're gonna, Rainbow gets up every play and gonna say something, and now he has Idris with him, and then Radiant might bark a little bit. Radiant talks when he's up, so I'm not gonna count Radiant, and then he's gonna hear that he's like Gerber, cook his ass up, you're gonna hear all that. I just want to see how he deals with it. So I think it's going to be between the backcourt or how they run away with the series in Golden State.
I'm gonna tell you who I think is gonna get. First of all, probably gonna be the Snickers player, and the player that's gonna get the most rattled is. And I'm sorry, man, it's gonna be Pexal. This man's been having a bad last couple of weeks. Not gonna lie to you, man. Pexal is looking like food right now. That's all I'm gonna say. So I think that Keena is gonna. I think he's gonna do some Keena magic, and I think that he is going to kill. Well, okay, let's not say it like that. He is gonna cook that man Pexal, man. I don't know what his averages are right now. Let me see what's Keena's points per game. He's averaging 23,
25, 24.
24 about. I will say this. You can book it. That man is going to have, he's going to over his average. I would say he's probably going to have around almost 30 points. I think that he's going to be close to that. He might be around that 28 to 30 point range, but he is going to hoop on that man. That man can't play defense, okay? I'm sorry. He's been bad.
Depends on what they put on the pick and roll. I think it depends on what they pick and roll. Yeah. I had a conversation with Idris yesterday. Hey, Rainbow, I had a conversation with Idris yesterday, and I was like, the Pistons are good. They're a good team to play. They're every Rainbow team is a hard-nosed team, and then Rainbow really embraces Detroit basketball. So that's a hard-nosed team to play against in the day. But it's really gonna come down to pick and roll, Rainbow. I'm talking to you now. It's me and you in the chat now. So if you put Idris in that pick and roll, that shit's getting cooked. You gonna have to play that pick and roll, Rainbow, and have Idris play that corner. I'm telling you now, because that shit's getting fried. Because when y'all had Idris on that pick and roll, that shit was getting fucked up. So I'm telling you, Rainbow gonna have to play that pick and roll in order for him to get some stops. That's just my feeling. That's just me. Everybody's blaming Pexal, but it comes on the PNR defense, bro. That has to be tight coming into the playoffs. Playoff defense is different. It's not like regular season defense.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I definitely do think that the Pistons will have a lot more energy coming into this series. They're going to be a lot more, trash talk with that team. But at the same time, it's hard to trash talk when your team gets down early in a series, especially in game one can be such a deciding factor for an entire series. Because game one, if you get blown out game one, all that energy, all that game planning goes out the window. So that's my thing about it. And it could go for either side, right? The Warriors could get stomped on, and guess what? They might be checked out. You know what I mean? You might be just to the point we got no chance in hell. You know what I mean? And it can go the other way too. But when I look at this series, man, I think that Gradient is going to play great. Gradient's been having a good year, and no one's talking about it enough. That man is an all-star this year in the 2K League, in my opinion. And
I think he's a bucket at lock too.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So I think that Gradient is going to be the huge X factor in this entire series, and I think that the Warriors are going to win this series. I love all my guys over at Pistons GT. Shout out to Adam Rubin. Shout out to Fox. Shout out to Coach Juan. You doing all your things, man. Shout out to the Idris picking up the Gatorade bottle on the sidewalk, whatever the hell that was. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that's a sponsored thing. I don't know, but
I didn't peep.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There was just some random video with Idris walking and picking up a piece of Gatorade, a Gatorade off the sidewalk. But listen, man, I'm going Warriors gaming all the way. I think it's going to be a game 3. I think we're going to game 3 with this series. I think it's going to be 2-1 Warriors gaming. I think Gradient's going to be a huge X factor. But I think the biggest player in this stage, and it's going to be, it's of course it's Rainbow. Like, there's no one else we can pick that's going to be the stage, like, basically like the X factor on the stage for the, like, for the business.
It is. Yeah.
Right? Rainbow, if Rainbow can play his cards right, he can rally this team into winning this series. He is a pivotal player in this entire series. Yes, Pexal might be getting cooked by Kina, but if Rainbow can just rally the troops, keep his team in, in the game, I think Rainbow can kind of get the team over over that hump. But I just think ultimately, I think the Warriors are going to show up. I think we're going to see playoff Kina. I think Gradient's going to show why he's one of the best two-way players in the league this year, pretty much. And I just see them advancing, in my opinion. But anyway, is there anything you want to say before we move on to the next series? Or anything else left you have to say?
I just can't wait to see Rainbow pull that mask off and start barking at boys. Oh man, nostalgia is going to hit me right in the soul.
But listen, anyway, let's move on to the last first round series: Jazz Gaming versus Blazer 5 Gaming. Now, this is a Blazers team that is coming in. They won. They played great in the Churn tournament. They won the ticket. They had to go through they had to work their way to the finals. It's not like they were sitting there like the Kings. They had to work all the way through. This is the only organization to ever make playoffs 4 times in a row in all the years' existence. And it's just, overall, this team, they got a little momentum. You know what I mean? You saw the Blazers players. They were feeling good. Everyone's smiling, celebrating. They're hyped up. And then you have Jazz Gaming. They've been here before. You know what I mean? Last year, they're not even looking at this series. They're looking at the finals at this point. That's where their eyes are. But obviously, they're going to play what's in front of them. Yay! What is the biggest question in this entire series? Not just individual team, but what is your biggest question in this entire series?
And I ask you this first before I answer my question. With the Jazz Gaming, is that the first time we had a returning roster? All 5 players get back to the playoffs. Like back-to-back playoffs. Is that the first time we ever had that? I'm just curious.
I mean, the Wizards kind of had it, but they just were like 4 for 5.
Yeah, they got beat rich. I'm talking about like that returning roster, that 5 starting lineup. First got back.
I think that might be the first.
Might be the first.
It's probably because it's hard because teams have lost players over the years, so it's kind of like it's
hard to keep up with everybody.
Like this is the first year we didn't have an expansion team to steal your players, so it's kind of like, okay, there was no one stolen from me, so we kind of were able to get our players. And obviously, they traded back for Lottie to get them. But either way, most of the years, like the Wizards, the Wizards were very fortunate with no expansion teams. But I will
all 6, yeah, they got all 6.
Yeah,
top, yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah. I don't know what Get on My Level is really telling y'all boys in the locker room, but we gonna see come Thursday, comp. Because the way I look at it, like the Jazz are like the hottest team on the board, other than like the Wizards and T-Wolves, right? Other than the 1 seeds, Jazz are like the hottest team we got to think about. 1 seeds have never won a championship yet.
Really?
Yeah, never. No 1 seed has won a championship yet. That I can remember.
Wow, that's actually crazy. Well, no, what were the? Oh yeah, because the Wizards were like a 2 or 3 seed, right?
Yeah. Because the Raptors were 1 seed last year,
wow,
and then T-Wolves came in because they were hot, and we came in because we were hot. Hottest teams win tournaments. So, like, with the Jazz, I think they're the hottest team on the board right now. Arguably, I'll listen to a couple people, but, like, I'll say arguably Jazz is the hottest team on the board. And I think they have a chance of winning the whole thing. So, when it comes to this Blazers matchup, it's really going to be on, like, are these guys, like, they're picking up where they left off from last year, they're picking up where they left off in the regular season. Splash has been doing splashy things. Rhea got to get back in his bag. I think Rhea has been kind of coasting, low-key. I think Rhea has been chilling. So, like, now that it's playoff time, we're going to see a whole different side of Rhea. Bees has been in his bag at the power forward spot. Nobody's talking about Bees. So, it's really on, like, Lottie sliding into that 2 spot. You know, he been kind of playing lock and like being a leader of a locker room in Milwaukee for the most part of the season to kind of slide in and get back into his bag at the 2 spot. And you know, he did that right. Oh shit, I'm spilling shit. And then
weren't the T-Wolves, what seed were they in the play? Was it 4 seed or 5, 6? No, it was like 4 seed, wasn't it, for playoffs? Like they went on that streak and they turned it around. So I think they were like a 4 to 6 seed.
They were like later. They were like 6 or 7. I want to say like something crazy because you know Trump hit that 3 to get him the playoff spot like late in the year.
Mm-hmm. So
and then I think T Wolves were 8. No, that season 2. Yeah, T Wolves were 8. They kind of like bullshit the rest of the season after winning the ticket.
Yep.
I want to say there were 7, 6 or 7. So like and they were the hottest team coming in. But they kind of pick up where
the Warriors won the ticket that year. That wasn't the.
That's what I said. The Warriors they bullshit at the end of the season after they won.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, but who would be that team this year? Like, so if we were to knock out both the 1 seeds, right? Let's say that both 1 seeds just get upset. Who is like 4 to 6, right? Like, you know, obviously I know the Jazz are just outside of that category if we were being like, you know, if we're using this, but outside of like the
Jazz Hornets,
you think the Hornets?
Jazz Hornets. Those are the 2 hottest teams, other than the 1 seeds.
Yeah, other than the 1 seeds.
I think the Jazz Hornets meet in the middle. And the Knicks been playing well the last few weeks, but I mean, it's hard for me to really pick them over the Hornets in terms of like being the hottest right now. The Hornets are a confident bunch.
Is it fair to say though that the Blazers kind of got hot too? Like they won the turn.
Blazers got hot in the same way the Knicks got hot though. They were in the same kind of bag. Knicks 2-0 with the Sixers. The Sixers are what? Like, you know, like, like Knicks they came out competing with teams they wouldn't compete with early in the year. If the Knicks literally just close out games early in the year, they're a 4 seed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the problem. They've been competing with the Nets all year. Like, they went back and forth with the Nets early. They beat the Knicks. Beat the Sixers. I'm like, but like it's the same thing with the Blazers. They were like going split seats with a bunch of teams, and then they made a run in the ticket. And they almost didn't come out with that. And Mama hits that 3 and said, we have a different conversation right now. So, like, I was like, we talking about the hottest teams. I got to give the nod to Jazz and the Hornets.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, what's interesting about teams that have these bye weeks is, like, they can get cold hands. You know what I mean? Like, they don't get to play a series. They're just sitting there waiting for their matchup, right? So, you know, you look at it like, all right, you know, if the Pistons beat the Warriors, you know, they're hyped up. You know what I mean? They could come in hot against a team like the T-Wolves. You know, same thing goes for like if the Blazers beat the Jazz, which is a big win for them. You know what I mean? It's a scary situation to play a team after they just won a big series, like a low seed team winning a series. That's a scary sight. Like the Knicks winning, I feel like the Grizz aren't truly a 3 seed because I don't know. It's maybe I have a weird perception of them, but like I just don't look at them as a true 3 seed. But anyway, I just think that when it comes to some of these teams, like the tournament is built, the playoffs, the magic of the playoffs it's built for anybody to win. And the thing is, this is the first time we're going in person in 2 years. There's some players we've never seen on the stage, ever. Like, I think every person, like, on some roster, like, there's some rosters I think that have a lot of stage vets, but some don't have a single one. Like, I think they'll be fine, but, like, so it's going to be Splashy's first time being on stage. It's going to be Bash's first time on stage. It's going to, like, I'm just talking about point guards. Jack's first time on stage. Duck's first time. Chalk. Obviously Dre. Like, you have a lot of point guards. It's going to be their first time. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of point guards, even 630. Like, this is a lot of point guards first time. So, like, some teams that, you know, have that like, that's why, like, I think the T-Wolves is a very scary team to play because you got Bear, you got, you know, who's played on the stage, you know, you have Slaughter who's played on the stage, Kai, obviously, it'd be his first time, so I don't know how, like, we'll see how that goes, but, like, it does matter, like, anyone who's, like, you're also, like, think about it, man, you're in Dallas, Texas, you know what I mean, like, you're seeing all these players with, like, all this, like, these, like, you know, tweets, like, man, like, I can't believe this is my life, you know what I mean, like, some players can get, bottled up in those emotions, like, man, like, this is awesome, you know what I mean, and get distracted. So, like, that's my thing about it. Like, you might get trapped in the moment, and people don't want to admit that. No one in the league is ever going to admit that, like, that can happen to them. Like, you like, that's just one of those things. Like, oh, I'll be fine on stage. You know what I mean? But from my viewpoint, I think that some of these players are definitely gonna get lost in the sauce, and we're gonna see we see blowouts every year in the playoffs. Like, there's always gonna be that team that's just like that. Everyone's like, holy crap, they're getting flooded. I don't know who's gonna be that team. Maybe the Nets, but I don't know. But anyway, back to the Jazz versus Blazers series. Who is going to have the biggest stage presence on on both these teams? Because obviously, I think both teams are going to have stage presence. But which one?
Yeah.
Which one's going to have like the upside on stage presence? Do you think?
I think in terms of like player, the biggest stage presence is probably going to be Goofy. Goofy's always going to get up and talk and stomp and say what he has to say. I think in terms of like stage presence on the player, I think of course it's going to be Goofy. But I'm curious to see what Splash is going to do because he was talking in the broadcast with Scott and Dirk. Like he's going to get up and start talking and dancing and stuff. And I think he's either going to be really funny or really cringy, one or the other. And I can't wait to see what he does. But I think that Jazz team is going to come out solid.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think that Jazz team will come out solid. I think that Blazers team, man. I think that the combo of Red, Goofy, I think that's going to be a really good combo when it comes to trash talk. I think that team's going to have a lot of energy. But again, it's really going to come down to Bash in this entire series. Like Bash shows up, they can win the series. But it's just, I think Splashy ultimately though is like he's just he's an MVP candidate, man. But I don't think Bash is far behind him. But like Splashy, like as long as he shows up, I don't see any way that the Jazz lose the series. I think that the Jazz are definitely going to win. I can't wait to get quote tweeted by Blazer5 Gaming if I'm wrong about this. But anyway, I think that
You're gonna wait till you're wrong.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, if this happens where the Blazers win, then every team I said that's gonna win is gonna lose. So we're gonna bring back the champ curse, and every team's gonna be like, "Champ, shut the fuck up." Like that's basically what's gonna happen. Champ, Wizards DG gonna win the championship, and every game is gonna be a blowout. Huh? That's an interesting one. Interesting one right there. So who do you think is gonna be the most rattled in this entire series?
Talking about for Jazz.
Yeah, Jazz Blazers. Yeah, Jazz Blazers. Who's getting rattled?
Man, honestly, there's a lot of experienced players on both rosters. It's hard for me. If I had to pick one person, if you're forcing me to pick one person, I'm gonna say randoms because he has to deal with the PNR with Rhea and Splash, and if it's not working the way like it should, like this team is probably gonna get on him. So I think if anybody's gonna get rattled, it's gonna be randoms. But like this is his first time on the stage too as well. But like I don't think Bash is going to get rattled. I don't think, and it's first time on the stage, especially the fan base he has.
Wait a minute. What about Goofy?
I don't think Goofy's going to rattle. Like Goofy. Like Goofy wait for moments like this. Goofy plays better on the stage. Like what I learned about playing against Goofy and with Goofy is that the more you talk trash to him, the better he gets. He's like Vegeta. Like the more you beat him up, he's just saying, bro. Like if you beat him up and like get on his ass, like he's gonna get better. Like he's gonna play harder. Like he's gonna lock more in. Like he's probably the reason he hasn't been playing that way last year or so. Like probably because it's like nobody's talking to him, no one's saying anything to him except his teammates, and they're like, "Good job, Goofy, keep it up." So like, he ain't had nobody come in there and be like, "Yo, you're playing trash right now," and he's like, "What?" I'm telling you, like you don't want to piss him off. Like, the best way to play against Goofy, don't just compliment him.
Just like keep him calm the whole time. Just like keep him
calm the whole time. Yeah, rub his back.
Oh man, that's so funny. Anyway, I mean, you got Jazz advancing, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, we're both probably we're both definitely going with the Jazz here. Then they're gonna go play the Blazers. I mean, they're gonna play the Pacers. We'll go right into the Jazz versus Pacers since we're already here. All right, this is 630's first time. I mean, again, obviously, there's a lot of firsts for people here, but the whole narrative around the Pacers is it's all 630. He's carrying the workload. Little do people actually talk about is how good the Pacers defense actually has been statistically. If you guys don't know, the Pacers I think they're second, allowing the least amount of points to a point guard in the entire 2K league. So that comes down to the pick and roll defense, obviously some team defense, but they're second in that category. When it comes to allowing the points per game for point guards, they are second when it comes to the lowest points per point guards. Their opposing point guards. But in this entire series, You know, we got a red hot Jazz team. We got a Pacers team that's a 2 seed with 630, who is arguably, you know, he's MVP candidate, obviously, and he's rookie of the year. What's the biggest question in this entire series, guy?
I heard that everybody got 630 figured out. It don't look like it because he's putting up 60 on boys. So I got to see what everybody's talking about. It's from multiple sources in the league, and I'm not one of the people that be tweeting out, man, bunch of people told me this, and like, yeah,
Hey,
I've been hearing
what are
that.
you trying to say? No, okay.
Hey, not you. I'm saying like from players, they be like, they tweet something out like, man, people saying this and that. I'm like, no, I've been hearing from a lot of teams that they got 630 figured out. Hope he's still in the chat. Cause I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready to go to war. Cause this is different. This ain't regular season. This ain't sitting in the chair. You gotta hit your free throws too, boy. Hey, you know what? Hey, better hit them free throws. They're gonna be on your head because they're gonna bring it up. You're hearing it from me first. They're gonna bring it up. Now you gotta hear people in your ear. He put up 60. I don't know.
Here goes Frank with the alley.
We ain't even talking about the T-Wolves right now. Just be patient, Frank. We'll get there. But like in terms of like the Jazz. The Jazz, I think the Jazz are ready, man. This is the same same 6 they rolled in with last year, and I think they're gonna be able to pull it off. I think Compete is definitely gonna have a handful. That PNR definitely gonna have a handful because 630 ain't no punk. He's a scary dude. He can put up the numbers, but Compete better be locked in if they beat the Blazers. So, but if it's up to me and who I'm picking the Jazz to get to that Final Four.
Hey, man, I think that a lot of people are in favor of the Jazz. I think if the Pacers are to win this is huge, right? You know what I mean? Like, this is just, but I think that like, part of me feels like the Pacers are just happy to be here, you know?
This is no picnic for Joe Mar and Lavish. They've been here before.
Yeah.
Wolf too.
Yeah, but yeah, that's true. You know those are, you know, it's funny. It's like when everyone looks at the series, it's gonna be 630 versus Jazz Gaming, right? That's the conversation. But nobody's talking.
That's the conversation.
But nobody's talking about those other players on the team, which in a way that plays in their favor because those guys can come out and just, you know, smack them in the face. You know, it's one of those things. Like, Joe Mar's been having a pretty good year. I mean, I think he's had a really good year, actually. Lavish does not get enough credit. You know, I think he's been one of the better power forwards. And Wolf, that guy's, he's been playing good defense. I think that's one thing that, like, in the last 2 years, like season 2 and 3, I kind of was, like, worried about was his defense. But they've been better as a defensive unit this year. So let's watch out for other people besides 630. But you can figure out 630, but you still got to watch out for those other players. So, I mean, I still think, though, that Jazz Gaming is a very overpowered team. You got I don't know, Splash and Rhea, man. Like, that combo, it's just, Rhea's going to come out different. Like, let's be honest. Rhea is going to be a lot more, I think he's going to be playing a lot better in this series. This is Rhea's first time in playoffs. Or, no, I lied last year. No. Rhea, yeah. But I just think Jazz Gaming is just their experience. They've been here before. This is, you know, a lot of, you know, and I get it. Yes, some of the Pacers players, they've been here before, but I just think that the Jazz team is just a stronger built team. They have a stronger core, and I just see them going past this Pacers team. And I think the biggest question for this entire series is basically, do the Jazz have 630 figured out, or is this just some 2K League conspiracy and he's going to come out and ball? Like, that's the question. Because if 630 does what he normally does, watch out for Pacers Gaming. But anyway,
I don't think he's going to say anything either. I think he's going to just he might cook up a 40 and just lean back in the chair and just look at you.
No, he's not even going to say anything, bro.
That's terrifying, honestly. Yeah. If he's on that type of time, I'm like, yo, clip me up if you want to, but I don't want no words. I don't want no smoke.
So anyway, let's move on to the top left series. So who did you have advancing in the top left series?
Top left?
Like, yeah,
man,
Warriors.
I had the Warriors advancing because it's hard to count Keenan out.
Yeah. You got playoff Keenan in the boys. You know what I mean? The Kiss My Tims, you know, team basically. No, I'm trolling, but you got the Warriors versus T-Wolves Gaming. You know, this is a T-Wolves team that, you know, has just been, you know, the number 1 seed. You know, Kai, MVP. You know, you got Big Stoppa, you know who that is. You know, you got Miles, you know, with his bucket hat. You know, maybe he wears it on stage. I don't know. And then you got my guy Slaughter, man. Look, let me tell you guys something. Slaughter is an all-star this year in the 2K League. He should be an all-star. If he does not get to the all-star game, it's because people don't talk about him. Slaughter is had one of the best years at the center position this year, and he should be an all-star. I think that that's the big thing in this series that people aren't going to talk about. The biggest question is the matchup between that guy Slaughter versus Hezzy. Slaughter's coming back, against his former team that traded him away. Let's remember that this team traded him away because and no one's going to say, of course, in the chat they'll be like, "Oh, that's not why we traded him away." In the finals, Slaughter got a lot of blame on social media for that loss. A lot of people were like, "Man, they probably dogged Slaughter." That's what it was. That was the narrative, and it was crazy to me that Slaughter was the first person to get traded from this team. Because Slaughter had a good year, but he just didn't perform well in that final series. And I don't think it was that bad. I don't think there was this Slaughter just got destroyed. I just think that's how the narrative played out. Just like with let's be honest, season 1 Knicks, Hotshot was going off in that finals, but Nate just the narrative was playing in Nate's favor because Nate was getting a couple stops on him, and just that narrative just stuck that Nate that's kind of how Nate won the Finals MVP because of how the narrative played out in that entire series for Nate. I think Nate played well, but freaking Hotshot still had freaking 30 points per game or something like that, or something crazy.
Yeah, he still was getting buck. He had 40 plus.
Again, that series just the narrative just was built around Nate there. So ultimately, I think the narrative got built around Slaughter, and it just got but in the opposite direction. You know what I mean? Slaughter kind of got a lot of pushback, and the Warriors won't say that. They're not going to say, "Oh, we're not blaming Slaughter," but that's how the narrative was getting written out, really. But
right.
Anyway, Slaughter's playing his former team. I think Slaughter's going to hoop. I think he's going to ball out. I think that the T-Wolves are just going to bring that energy. They are going to be barking like dogs, man. It's going to be a shout fest. You're going to hear that team on the stage, and you're going to look. Everyone's going to look at each other and be like, They're a problem. They're a problem. So I think the biggest question, though, is that matchup between the two centers. How's Hezzy going to match up against Slaughter? Because, it really is a true testament to, where Hezzy lies in this league. Is Hezzy a top, Hezzy's definitely had a good year. He's had a good, good year with the Warriors. But, where are we ranking Hezzy? You know what I mean? Is he going to be in that top 10 category? Is he top 5? Where is he in the league at center? Because he's had a pretty good year. But, this is kind of a testament to really where he lies in this league. But, Yay, what is your biggest question in this Warriors versus T-Wolves series?
Yeah, it's pretty much how impactful will Hezzy be, and same thing with Antoine. And I think that T-Wolves team is just kind of too stat. I'm a big Keenan fan, and the way he usually comes together in big time games. But I guess that T-Wolves team, that's a stacked team. And Kai doing Kai things, and Kai been crazy all year. And I want to see how it is on the stage. It's gonna be his first time on stage. But I think if you're blaming Slaughter for literally anything, you're tripping, because that team is stacked top to bottom 1 through 5, and they're gonna have to beat themselves in order to lose any of these matchups, except maybe if they meet the Wizards. Mm-hmm. They're gonna have to implode to lose, and I think T-Wolves coming in, they're gonna be well prepared. Bear's been here before. I think he's the only one in that whole lineup that has. And, Nick has always been a witness of everything in person of how it works. So, I don't know. I think T-Wolves run away with it too well. And I'm a big Keenan fan. So, if Keenan finds a way, it is what it is.
You have 3 players, 2 players that have finals experience. Slaughter was in the finals last year. Bear was in the finals season 2. You got a lot of you have a good mixture of experience, and you also
Slaughter was there last year.
Yeah, so
got that fast.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying though. You have a lot of experience on this team, not only just skill wise. Yeah, Kai is one of the best 3-point shooters in the entire league. He shoots 63% from 3. That is crazy. He should be the MVP. I think that everyone who's doing their votes, if Kai's not MVP, you guys messed up. I'm just gonna be honest with you at this point. But anyway. Like I said, I think it's pretty clear what direction we're both going in this. Obviously, T-Wolves. Next series is going to be Wizards versus, and this is if the Knicks win, obviously. Because again, I said T-Wolves, 2-0 sweep. Knicks are going to be pissed at me when I'm wrong. They're going to be like, "Champ, shut the hell up." But Lowest seed is going to play the Wizards. I'm going to go. Obviously, it would be Knicks versus Wizards. And the question is, how many points is the Knicks going to get blown out by? That's the biggest question.
Oh,
Because I'm not going to lie to you.
you're disrespectful.
I'm not going to lie to you. I love my guys. Listen, man. I love you, Nate. I love you, man. I love my New York guys, man. But I'm not gonna lie. They about to kick your ass, man. They about to. There ain't a chance. Like, they ain't even gonna get a chance to be up in this game. Not a chance. The Wizards are literally gonna be bullying them, man. Like, we're gonna have to, like, bro, like, it's gonna be bad, man. We're gonna have to, like, it's gonna be bad. All right. The biggest question is, how many points is Knicks game going to get blown out by? That is the question for me in this entire series. What is your biggest question in this series, Ye?
First off, respectfully, it's going to game 3. 2,
Respectfully.
2, I don't think any game ends in a flood. I think this is playoff basketball. I don't think Knicks is going to be one of them teams that's going to be the ones getting flooded. It happens to somebody. I don't think it happens to the Knicks. I know Nate does too much homework, and he's going to force everybody else to do homework. And Kyle Rudy's been there before. Same thing with the Wizards, but I think it's close. I think it's closer than you think it would be. But at the same time, like, if we're dealing with the Wizards, man, that's a tough group too. It's kind of like the team was on the East side, man. Like, it's top to bottom. Like, B Rich is not as bad as like you may think he is if you're looking at it on paper. But I was like, I think Wizards go away with it, but I think it goes to 3.
So let me ask you this. In playoff basketball, I think blowouts are different in regular season versus playoffs. What is considered a blowout in playoffs, in your opinion?
Playoffs? Shit. I mean, yeah. If you're talking about like a flood, it's like a blowout. It's like I don't know. I think a flood is a flood no matter how you look at it.
Yeah,
like we're talking about 15 plus.
But I think that, like you said, though, in playoffs in general, or like, it is normally like, like 2K isn't built for you to blow teams out. Like, regardless of how much better you are, the algorithm's gonna play in a factor to some extent. So, like, I would say, like, to me, I think like 12 points is kind of like that borderline of like in a way a blowout. Like,
even then, like, the game could be close, and then the team just gets a run late.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's a 12-point game at the end of the game, and you're like,
yeah. So,
but like the game was close for a better part of the game.
Yeah, it really just shows. It really just depends on how the game flows, right? Like, if at the gate the team is down by like 10 points and it just stays like that the whole duration, then yeah, that's really a blowout. You know what I mean? Like, because they never got over the 10-point, that 10-point differential. So, I mean, it really just depends on how the game's being played, and how the momentum's shifting around. If the Knicks never feel it, like, I just don't think the Knicks are ever gonna have that feeling that they might start off early with a couple big threes, but I just think the longevity of the entire game, like the Wizards are gonna rule the second, third, and fourth quarter of every game. In my opinion, I think that's what's gonna happen. So, again, who do you think is gonna be who's gonna get rattled in this series? Who's the pressure gonna be on the most in this series? You think?
You said who's going to be the most rattled?
Yeah, who do you think is going to get rattled, or it just feels like the game is their fault? Because that's really who gets rattled, is who feels like the game.
Low key, I think low key it might be JBM. I think it might be JBM.
I'm gonna go on the opposite. I'm going opposite side. I'm going Duck.
Think Duck?
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be either or, man. Because
I'm not gonna lie.
Of course, they're probably gonna have his point guards back, like no matter what.
Yeah, but Awkward
in
man,
game.
You got Awkward, man. Awkward's gonna. He's gonna one of the best two-way players in the 2K League, man. That guy's gonna do some things to Duck, man. He's gonna put him in a box. You know what I mean? He's gonna get you've been seeing these these stupid freaking crate challenges, and he's gonna fall off, right? He's gonna it's gonna be bad. You know what I mean? It's gonna be, I just think, again.
Hey man, let me cut the chat. Talk to the chat one time, bro. Y'all gotta put respect on my boy King Quack, bro. Y'all got him fucked up. That man is ready to rock. Hey, he been quiet for the last 2 years. Remember, he got bred under a champion and Goofy over there at greatness. At the end of the day, that boy is ready to hoop on that stage. Like, they said the same thing about us coming in, man. I'm telling you, champ. Hey, ticket Knicks are different. I'm telling you boys now. We can talk it. We can speak it in the chat right now about Hey, the nigga, we count them out. All this, that, and the third. Like, all right, we can do it. Hey, but at the end of the day, when time to load up. And you see Malik got 35 points and you're down 12. I'm not trying to hear it.
All right, I guess we'll see.
But we'll see.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to the Hornets versus. It would be who do we got? First of all, who the hell we have advancing in this Nets versus Sixers?
I had Sixers. I don't know who you picked.
I'd probably go with the Nets, but
okay.
Either way, they're going to play the Hornets. So Sixers versus Hornets. What's going to happen?
I think Hornets beats them both. I think Hornets beats either team. Honestly, because one, Hornets is a very quiet team and like well coached, well disciplined bunch of guys. Sherm is one of the most underrated players to ever pick up the sticks in this league. Sorry, and then Rigby had again an underrated rookie season. I think if we had to look at the rookie of the year ballot, I would put Rigby at number 2 in terms of like impact in the rookie year. And then Pete, same thing. Like Trap, I think Trap had a defensive player of the year candidate like conversation, like worthy season. And Crown's probably like arguably top power forwards in the league. I'm like, if you're really looking at that team, I'm like, man, I think they knock out either or team no matter what they play against. Unless those guys fold on the stage, I'm like, I think the Hornets have the upper hand of either squad.
I think they're just a very solid team. I don't think there's any holes. I think that when I look at teams like the Nets, their hole is defense, right? Like their defense is just that's such a like aching point, and the strongest point on the Hornets is their defense. Like so, I just think that that's going to be tough for the Nets to overcome. And for the Sixers, I mean, we've seen times where Dre, it's kind of just like Dre just taking shots, chucking the ball. You know what I mean? Like it's really been a struggle for the Sixers. I thought the Sixers were going to be better than this. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't think they're a bad team, but I didn't think they'd be like I don't know. I feel like they should be a little better. But I think the biggest question for them is, I mean, is as long as it's not even really a question, it's a statement. You know what I mean? Like the Hornets defense, you know what I mean? That's been like the biggest forte for them. Offensively, like Sherm's doing his thing. He's not putting up crazy numbers, but he's doing this job. You know what I mean? I think every player on this team is doing their job. And Rigby obviously having the year he's having. The biggest question is, is Rigby gonna be okay on the stage? You know what I mean? I saw them trying to record a video of Rigby. I don't know how to explain it, man. Like what was that? What were they doing? I don't know, man. He looks like
I didn't see it.
It was like he looked a little nervous when he got on camera there. Like I don't know. I think
everybody's gonna be nervous. Even the Reds gonna be nervous. But hey, like
I don't know, man.
That's healthy. Like nerves are healthy at the end of the day. Like you think I wasn't nervous going to get that Heat team?
Yeah,
man. We couldn't wait to play them more. We had a whole week in between us. So their boys are anxious. They ain't nervous. Playing, especially guys like that been around for a little while. Sherman's played on the big stage. Crown is a grown man. That man.
Oh yeah, he'll be fine. No,
that man will go chop a tree down if you too. And then and Pete, and same thing with Pete, he's a big stage as well. I'm like, they're calming those boys down. Like I think Trap, I don't got nothing to worry about. I think Trap is a big boy. I think he's a grown man too. And it's really, and then Rigby's gonna go out and do his thing.
All right.
Like the stage, and we talk about the stage really rattling people. Like the stage is. These guys prepare for this type of stuff, man. When you get in the league, you prepare for the type of stage. You might have a hiccup, you might miss a couple shots, but as soon as you see one, and you get in the field, you get in the groove, you're straight. You green one, you're good. Mm-hmm. I think Rigby is one of those guys. I think he's gonna be solid. Okay,
so Hornets Wizards. What's gonna happen in this series? First of all, what's the biggest question in the series? Like basically, like even a statement. Like you know what I mean? Like it could be a statement, not a question, but like. How do the Hornets win this series? Like, that's my thing. Because I think everyone has just Wizards winning this, going all the way to the finals. Yeah, I picked you to be 500. I picked you guys to be 500, Jeff, but I still kind of felt like a higher standard for you guys. Like, I still felt like you guys were better. I kind of underplayed you guys in preseason. But anyway, what can the Hornets do to beat the Wizards? Like, what do they do? Like, that's my question. What do they do?
Man. I think if you really look at the tail of the tape with those two teams, I think defensively, Wizards have an upper hand. They play really good team defense. That front court is the same squad they're running in with from last year, picking up where they left off. Experienced guys, championship written guys. But that Hornets team is not too far off in terms of like how I can play defense. It's really going to come down the battle of the backcourts between both sides. Is JPM going to be Captain Jack America that he was for the first open, or he's going to kind of be to where he was like middle of the season to where like the the play around has been like kind of uplifting him. He's been able to hide behind like some good performances from the rest of his team, and he snuck in some good performances here and there. We thought JB was gonna come in and be like how 630 is. We thought he was gonna be like that guy coming into the season, and he hasn't been. He's kind of let us down in that aspect, but he's been playing good enough to win ball games. But like it's gonna come down to the tail. It's gonna come down to that backcourt. So we're gonna see who's gonna be better out of JB and Sherm, and who's gonna be better out of Rigby and B Rich. Because I think both teams are gonna get enough stops. Enough.
I think that when it comes to Jack, when it comes to Captain Jack, I think that based off of like things I've heard, he's been waiting for playoffs. Like it's kind of like he's like now he's locked in, right? You know what I mean? Like they knew they were making it. They knew they were making the playoffs. You know what I mean? And that's good. To have that confidence. I think Jack's going to come a lot different in this tournament. I just don't know what the Hornets are. I don't know what the scheme is for the Hornets coming into this. Like. All right, we got to make Jack turn the ball over, but that's what he's best at, not turning the ball over. So that's the biggest thing, getting Jack to turn the ball over. Because I think that everyone else, I
don't think you try to, honestly. Yeah. I don't think you try to make Jack play the ball. You make him score.
Yeah.
You make Jack put that bitch in the hole. Honestly, you don't have to worry about him turning the ball over. That should not be that. He's not going to turn the ball over. He's too smart for that. He's been in the championship, I think. And then Dave Fry has been alongside of him this whole way. At the end of the day, you make Jack beat you off getting a bucket, which I'm not saying he can't do it, but if I'm picking get the whole team involved over Jack coming into the stage, first time on the stage being Captain Jack America, I'm just picking that at least for game one. To see what he does.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's just hard to the Wizards. I think everyone has them clearly in the finals. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think we're gonna see a single bracket this entire. If people make brackets, no one's picking the Wizards not to be in the finals at this point. You almost be crazy not to say it after the season they've been having. You know what I mean? But let's go to the West. Before we do this, if we were to switch any of these West teams. Would they go to the Final Four? Obviously, if they were on the Wizards side, it'd be tough. But if we talk one of these West teams and we put them in the bottom right of the bracket, would they go to the Final Four?
Any of them, or
any of them, every single team. So Blazers, would the Blazers go to the Final Four if they were playing against the Hornets and stuff? Even though they did lose to the Hornets though.
I don't think the Blazers do. I think the teams that do, offhand, I think it would be the Jazz and the T-Wolves. I think everybody else will have a problem with the Hornets, in my opinion.
Okay.
And it really depends. Are we throwing because it's weird because if the Knicks win, they're up there, and if the Grizzlies win, they're down. I don't know.
I know what you're saying, but I'm saying that no matter what, they would play Grizz Hornets, they
were just in that bottom side. I was just to kind of answer the question. I'll say Jazz and T-Wolves confidently, and it really depends on how good the Pacers play. But I'll probably choose the Hornets.
Yeah. I think I confidently could say those two teams, Jazz and T-Wolves. I think that it'd be a lot closer. I think that the Hornets are going to be, they're just more superior to most of those teams in the East. But anyway, let's get moving. T-Wolves versus Jazz. This is the series that honestly I want front seats to this. I'm not gonna lie. This is a great series. You know what I mean? I hope that they need to make sure they capture as much audio of the players talking in the series. Honestly, I don't know if my guy Matt Arden's in here. I know Frank was in here before. I know Brad Ross comes in here sometimes. Please make sure that you guys capture this game's audio as much as you can. I need to hear what these players are saying. I want to see the trash talk. This is the series. We got to see it. But T-Wolves versus Jazz. What is the question going into this game? You know what I mean? Who is the X factor? Or how do I think the T-Wolves are favored, but how did the Jazz beat the T-Wolves?
Oh man, I think the Jazz It's kind of like the same way we were talking about with the Hornets and the Wizards. Like it's going to be a battle of the backcourt, but you don't want that battle actually. So actually, let me rethink this. If you go battle of the backcourt, I think T Wolves win every day of the week in terms of like, are you going to get production from Kai or are you going to get production from Bear? So if in order for the Jazz to beat them, one, the T Wolves have to beat themselves because they have those games where they implode. They just don't look like the squad that they look in the prior series. They have those random series where like they're playing against the Cavs Legion and they just can't get a stop. I'm like, oh, what's happening? Is D-Law the best center in the league? Like, what's going on? Like, Splash is going. I mean, Fab's going off. Like, what can't you stop about Cavs Legion? So those guys will probably look at Cavs Legion tape and be like, this is how we literally cause T Wolves to implode, like to kill themselves. One, you get Kai frustrated. That's one thing. I think you really make Bear kind of like how I was talking about with JBM. You make Bear kind of take over the game, which he is able to do, but you just kind of limit Kai from getting those leaks on the break, and like exposing the guard on the other side, or just exposing the guard off the dribble. Like if you do that, just get them frustrated enough, like you're forcing Bear to kind of conquer everything, and I think that's going to be tough. And really, just get those guys to kind of argue with each other. It's better said than done. But I think if you're going against this Jazz team, well coached team, same group that's coming in from last year, they learned. I think they're going to learn from their experience from last year, and they're going to find a way to get it done. It's hard to really explain how until we see it in person. But I think Jazz are going to go away with the series and get into the championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair assumption. I think the biggest thing is getting Saint checked out of the game. I think that the Jazz could really do that to this T-Wolves team. I think that's kind of where the kryptonite lies. I mean, I think that I think Saint's aware of this, that people are going to target him because they know his type of, how he is. You know what I mean? Like he could get lost in his own trash talk. Like he might like get too locked into like retaliating instead of locking into the game. And like he might get distracted by his trash talk at times. So I think that when it comes to the T-Wolves, that's going to be like the key for the Jazz to do, is to really get under Saint's skin, but do it in a way that's not obvious that they're trying. Like that's like their goal. Like they kind of have to play it off like as a strategic move. Like okay, like we have to. It's a mental game because 2K is all in. It's all in here. You know what I mean? Like it's all mental. It's a chess game. You know what I mean? Like. We need to target him. We need to find a way to like all right, Splashy cooks Saint, right? They gotta go for him. You know what I mean? They gotta, Splashy's gotta be locked in on getting Saint pushed out of the game. You know what I mean? Making him feel like this game is just like, get him rattled, get him stressed out. That's the goal. That's the goal for the Jazz. I think that everyone else is going to show up in this game. This is a battle of a lot of good players, right? Like this team, both teams have all, I think everyone's going to show up to the series, but like the Jazz need to key on just getting under Saint's skin. I think that's the goal for the Jazz to win this. For the T-Wolves, I mean, as long as you keep the team composed and everyone stays together, I don't see why they don't win this series. But I think that for the Jazz, that's their biggest thing in order to get to the finals. Anything left you have to say about this series? I think that we both pretty much have T-Wolves in a way. It's basically T-Wolves versus Wizards, but T-Wolves versus Wizards. Everyone's this is a battle of who's going to be the first two-time champion organization. Plus, there's going to be players that are two-time champions, like Dave Fry. Obviously, pretty much all the Wizards players, and then you're going to have Bear. You know what I mean? Who's going to is Bear going to get his second ring? That's going to be the biggest thing in the series. But all right. You are the coach. You are the coach. You are Nick Gartrell. What are you doing strategically to beat Wizards CG?
If it's a 1 seed versus 1 seed going in, what do you just do? What's been going on all season, man? Just capitalize on offense with the backcourt. Kai's been getting his. Bear's been getting his. Bear's been taking a back seat, and I think Bear can pop off at any moment. He has games and performances in series where he looked really good. And at the same time, on defense, I think you said Big Saint might check out, but it's good players behind him. Kai leading the league in steals, being able to get that bump early and getting those random steals here and there just to throw the momentum off. I think that's going to be enough for T-Wolves to do it. They just have to minimize mistakes. Going into the playoffs, the thing is, the opponent at this point. The golden rule in And like for NBA teams, you just need to win 60% of your games, 65% of your games, and that's what you prepare for. So now you're focused on actual players you're going to go against. So you have to do your homework. You got to know like uh what to do in order to frustrate these guys. And with the T Wolves, I think they have all the pieces in place to make that happen on both sides of the floor, and they have to minimize mistakes and just do what works, just capitalize on their strengths, and that's getting a bucket out of that backcourt. And with Slaughter too as well, is having an underrated year that nobody's really talking about. So I think if those two actually do meet in the finals, it's literally like who wants it more, who's going to minimize mistakes.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Let me ask you this question: who is the Finals MVP?
If it's those two teams,
Yeah.
Finals MVP, I'm probably going to be Kai.
Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of people are going to go Kai just because off his MVP year, but I also think that that's a smokescreen. I think that they're going to be very focused on Kai, and let's not push. I think Slaughter could possibly be that Finals MVP. This is a redemption series because he's going back against a Wizards team that this is where Dave Fry and Slaughter met, and Slaughter kind of did get he got beat up a little. You know what I mean? So like that is a concern. You know what I mean? So, like, are we going to get the same Slaughter last year in the finals? Is he going to be thinking, like, you got to think mentally, is that what he's going to be thinking about during the series? Like, oh my God, I was here last year, and, I'm going against the same guy that I went against last year. This is a revenge game for him, you know what I mean? Redemption, you know what I mean? So, I think that for Dave Fry and Slaughter, that's huge. I think Bear has been really, like, just a quiet hero, right? He's not putting up anything crazy, but he's doing little things right, like, He's kind of like, that guy that just like, if Kai's getting all the attention, Bear's got to take over. You know what I mean? That's going to be a key thing for Bear. But I think Bear's going to be, he's built for moments like that. Like, I think a lot of those players are built for that, but I think Bear ultimately is the most, like that is what he was born to do, man. But
Andrew, let me ask you this real quick. If the T Wolves go and win this championship, you know how crazy it was in terms of like Bear as like an esports personality after they won season 2.
Ooh, I know.
Like, what does it look like? What does the esport of NBA 2K League look like if Bear wins another one?
You know how we talk about in Call of Duty, we have we have guys like Scump in like the COD League. I think that Bear can possibly take over this entire thing and become the Scump of the NBA 2K League if he continues to win and show. One, he needs to step up his game when it comes to just content creation. I also think that the league needs to pump up more media around him and put all their investment into him personally. When it comes to just like this time, we need to get Bear as many interviews as we can. We need to get as much exposure. We need to have him as the front page. Like when we do an NBA retweet, there needs to be him. It needs to be all Bear the Beast because that's what's ultimately going to help this league. And he, like you said, when Optic Gaming plays or FaZe Clan plays in the COD League, viewership dramatically changes. Skyrockets. Yeah. So Bear can change that, can turn that into like that. That's what Bear can do. But the problem is the league needs to know what they're doing. They need to be prepared for Bear to win. They need to not just assume, oh, anyone can win. They need to prepare for if Bear wins this title. We need to be able to have the right media coverage. 2, we need to have a plan set media, like content-wise, media-wise, to grow this man and to get him like bigger in this realm of esports. Because we need to, like the 2K League, it's not in a bad place, but it needs to earn more respect in the esports world. And I think one thing that we have that no one else does is that the way the players are like trash talk and the way the players talk, they are built for much better than most players are for content. But we just don't we're not trained in it. We're not like properly like molded yet. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's just a lot of us were new to this. This is an unfound territory, but we really need to capitalize on this, for Bear winning a title. So, I mean, I think that it could be very big for the league, but the league has to like push it very hard. And even in NBA 2K itself needs to push it hard in their game. Like it needs to be just all hands on deck. Like this can't be just the 2K League. It needs to be the NBA, 2K, Bear himself, all of them need to be in on this if Bear wins this title, because I think this can help the league. But anyway, we're going to move on to the last topic of the night. It's called Can We Fix It? We're only going to do 1 or 2 teams just because it's getting late. Me and Ye want to get some sleep. So Ye is looking like he's getting ready for bedtime. But we're going to move on to the last thing. And we're going to do Magic Gaming. Like, can we fix Magic Gaming? Okay, so obviously, guys, I have all the rosters pulled up. This is called Can We Fix It? So me and Ye are going to put on our GM hats, our coaching hats. We're going to say how we would fix Magic Gaming. You were in charge. All right. First, who are you retaining, Ye, on Magic Gaming?
Oh man, that's a tough call. I think honestly, I'm probably retaining DT and Reezy, and then everybody else. I'll have to figure it out. It's really just like going upon like, what do you guys want to do? Oh, actually, Snubby is also a good discussion too. It's really between Snubby and Reezy, and then DT for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, outside of those three, I can't think of anybody else I would keep.
Okay, I think we're going to retain the same players: Reed, Snubby, DT. Those are our three players retaining it. Okay, what's your next move? We're going into expansion, right? All right, let's say there's expansion teams. You know what I mean? What is your what phone calls are you having in the league right now? Like, are you trading players? Are you sticking with what you got and just waiting till the draft? Like, what is Ye's next move? Now you just retain these three players, but you've been the most average team in 2K League history. What are you doing next?
It's sort of tough because Snubby doesn't really play the game in the off season. So like I'm probably shopping them and see what people are thinking in terms of like taking them off my hands and just trying to find somebody who's dedicated to being like a real two guard is going to put the work in the off season. Whether I can trade them straight up or like just get a decent pick for them because I think Magic are already going to have a decent lottery pick going in. And then like with the how talented guards are like coming in through the draft like. This like over like last year's guards. This year's guards were the best set amount of guards we've had that with very little spots. So like those guys are kind of cycling in for season 5. So like I'll free up one of those guard spots for sure because I know Reezy, I can move around Reezy. And then with like the lock spot, I'm just playing everything else through the draft. So my main phone calls I'll be making is shop and snub.
I mean, I think that's fair. So you want to shop? Why not shop Reed instead?
Uh, Mainly because I've seen him play the game a lot
Off
during the
season.
pre-draft. Not like he can play a little more, but like I've seen him actually put work in and then being an MVP like candidate for season 2, and I think he just got to get back to that type of bag. And I give him one more. I give him one more shot. This is a guy that I put a lot of stock in. And me being a GM of the team at the time, like I want to make sure I'm right in this whole aspect. So I'm like, okay, I'm giving Reezy one more year. I mean, I'm having a conversation, picking his brain a little bit, see like what he thinks and what he wants to do too as well. Because I don't want to keep nobody against their will. But like I'm keeping him, and then I'm trying to find somebody he can work with.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So I'll let you guys know from my hat. I'm gonna put the GM hat on now. Okay. So Magic Gaming. Yes, we have these three players. I'm keeping Snubby, but I'm not using him as a shooting guard in my upcoming team. Okay. I'm looking at the lottery teams. I am shopping Reed, and if they don't want Reed, then yes, you could shop Snubby. But my goal is to get a point guard. Okay, we need a point guard. That's the goal. So we need to get. We already have our pick, which we have. I don't know what. Obviously, we'll find out later on what pick they have. They'll probably have like 10 or something like that. But so I'm trying to get another pick. I'm trying to get another lottery pick. So I have 2 lottery picks. So then I can build. So we're gonna put. You can either put Reed or Snubby at shooting guard. Again, I know that you talked about Snubby not playing as much in the offseason. I think Snubby doesn't care as much. He's just a talented guy that's in the league, right? He's like your Swizzerks. He's Swizzerk.
Yeah.
The guy's good at the game, doesn't do anything offseason really, shows up for the league, plays fine. You know what I mean? He's good. You know what I mean? So I do agree with the idea, the factor that Reed is a little more dedicated. I do like that idea of keeping Reed. But I am shopping both those players. I'm seeing what lottery picks I can get. So a lot of teams that so like the Cavs Legion needs a shooting guard. Strainer's gone. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I love Strainer. I wish the best for him, but it's likely gonna be. And this is an old retainment board, by the way. I don't know if I have Cavs pulled up right now, but it's probably only gonna be Fab and Oreo that get retained on that team right now. So you have those 2 players. They're probably looking for a shooting guard. If you can offer them like a Snubby who can either be your shooting guard, and Snubby can play other positions. He's really a true like 1 through 5 kind of player. Like that guy can play a lot of positions. So you can I would prefer not losing Snubby because I think he's a more skilled player. But just see kind of feel it out. Offer Reed first. See what they say if they'll give you their lottery pick, and if not, then I'll try to shoot Snubby. Why not no Lakers? We can do we'll do that I mean that not in this trade conversation. We'll go to the Lakers. We'll talk about the Lakers. Um, oh, you're just talking about this is all retainment board. This is not don't pay attention to that. But anyway,
No, I know why you did that.
yeah. So anyway, like I was saying though, when it comes to this team, like I said, you're shopping those two players. I think DT. I mean, you can shop DT. I don't think you're getting much for him. Maybe a late first. I think you're shopping the whole team. But I like to keep DT. I think DT's a good defensive player. I don't think he does anything wrong at his position. I think he's a good personality too. I think he can mesh with a lot of people. He's a laid back person. I like the way he carries himself. But I mean, like I said, I'm shopping around with a lot of teams. Like I'm hitting up the Heat. I'm seeing, hey, I'm sure that they would love like a Reed. Like I think that would fit great. So you can maybe, I'm sure Famous would love Reed there in Miami. I think that would be a good fit for him. This depends what pick they have, right? Like if they have like a late lottery pick, I'm trying to see I'm trying to see the highest lottery pick I can get for Reed because Reed is worth it. I think Reed is he's a shooting guard. I think that the problem is ever since he got on Magic Gaming, he's had to play that primary ball handler role, and I just think that Reed will be a better shooting guard. So I mean, looking at it, like I said, you shopping for the highest lottery pick between for whether it's Snubby or Reed. That's the two people that we're trying to move. Like I said, I would prefer to keep Snubby and try to move Reed. But
you keeping Zara over Glow?
This is old. This was preseason retainment predictions.
Oh, okay. I'm sure.
If you're wondering, this is old. This is like literally like I kid you not. I literally did this before the season.
Okay.
This was like my predictions of what I think would happen at the end of the season, retainment wise, for every team.
Okay.
But because you look, Dimes is still on the Mavs. Like that's like.
Fair.
So this was like old. But anyway, going back into it though, I mean, if let's say we move Reed away, we get the lottery pick. Let's say it's like 7 or something like that. You get your point guard. You get like I said, I'm moving Snubby off a shooting guard. I'm putting him on another position. I think that Snubby can play a lot of positions. Obviously, if you don't like the shooting guard that you're getting in the draft at that point, then then keep Snubby there and just draft him the position like a center. But even then, I don't like centers. I personally don't think there's any good centers outside the league right now. Really, personally,
Ooh.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't think any of them are like coming in like being like a top 10 type of player. Like I would trade if I don't feel that I'm getting a good valued center at my pick, I'm trading back. I would trade away my mid. Let's say that you have pick 10, right? Like if I was Knicks gaming this year, I would have traded one of those those picks away. I didn't think you needed to get a center that high. Personally, I think that you could have broke even on a lot of these centers. Like I don't think any of these centers that came in this year, like besides like Hezi, who I mean, he was not necessarily supposed to be a center. He was just a really talented player that got picked second overall. Like he wasn't supposed to be that good at center. Like a lot of people were shocked how good he was at center. But I mean, I would prefer to just either take a really talented player with that pick or just move out of that pick. So like if I'm like Magic, let's say I have 7 and 10, I'm trading that 10 pick away if I don't feel there's a high enough valued player there and getting either a future first and building up future assets. But well, anyway, you want
Would you just trade a 10 pick for a current center then?
I mean, you could do that. I mean, it depends. Like, you have to test the waters where every team is standing, right? There's certain organizations that are in this kind of, situation where they need to make change, right? But again, it's hard because there's not a lot of centers out there that are tradable. That like it's very hard to move centers in this league. I personally, I don't see a single center in this league that like people like that like they're asking out after the season, right? It's mainly point guards and guards. I possibly would trade. I would see what I could get for Reg too, because Reg is tradable this offseason. I could see if I could trade for Reg, like if I could trade my either Reed or somebody for Reg and maybe a future first or something like that, some type of deal where I get like a second in Reg and they get my future first in Reed. You know what I mean, for Reg, which I mean, it really just depends on the conversations that you're having with the Bucks. Like you can talk with the Bucks, try to get Reg. You can talk with there's a lot of teams I think you can have conversations with. Just depends on where the org's at. Like, what if Mama this offseason really is unhappy and wants to be out of Sacramento? You know what I mean?
Yeah, SIGS wants out too, so but you
Yeah,
can.
yeah. So you could send the Kings an offer too to get something from them. There's a lot of open slots on a lot of teams for things, but the number one goal you need to secure a point guard. Like you need to secure a point guard. So if you get like if like I think if I am the Magic, I'm trying to secure Reg. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get Reg because instead of having to worry about like taking a point guard in this draft, like because like think about it, like the Sixers traded up to get Hoodie Dre, and look how it's like I'm not saying Hoodie Dre's been bad, but it's just that like it's not like you did all that to get a player that like I just think that it was a lot of work to get a player. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's a bad trade. I'm just saying that like you went from Radiant to Hoodie Dre, which is a difference. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like a little drop off at your point guard position.
I mean, it still work. They still got
Yeah, I
a
mean they still
playoff.
made playoffs. I mean Walnut I
Yeah,
think played a big factor in that though. I think Walnut is huge on the team. I mean I think
yeah,
that
too. Like Steez, keeping
yeah
Steez was
yeah
good.
yeah those two
They have a decent guard. Like Radiant still has Screddy. Like
yeah.
they haven't had much two guard play, and Drake's still been able to carry the load in that backcourt
They were
all
able to
season.
get A Rooks on the team. You know what I mean? Like it's a team that like I said. I mean I'm not upset with it. I just think that like depending on like you also don't know what the guard class is going to look like coming in. You know what I mean? Like let's be real. Johnny Red is probably what the top. I mean, and again, we're people that watch.
Johnny Red, yeah,
Johnny
Johnny Red and
Red.
Zay probably 1 and 2.
Yeah, those are probably your top picks. You can throw a couple other guards in here and there, maybe depending on pre-draft.
Yeah,
It really depends on pre-draft, but
really, yeah, I get
it's rough.
down.
It's rough because if you don't have those top picks, you're not getting that. You're not getting the Johnny Reds. You're getting the leftovers. You know what I mean? Like you're hoping that some crazy player slips to you, and it's kind of hard. You know what I mean? But we don't know the forecast for the players in the draft, so that's the hardest part about this. Is
Yeah,
when you're prepping at this point, like in the fall, you're trying to predict what the draft's going to look like way before it's like even like
yeah.
So, but
Well, yeah, only place we knew last time was crazy
yeah,
around this time.
yeah. So I mean, again, I think that like you said, Zay and Johnny Red, definitely some top selections, in my opinion. I won't say any others in case I'm in a position. I don't want to say. That's just it. That's a different aspect of things.
Yeah,
Um, but again, as I'm saying though, with the Magic, the goal is to get point guard. If we can shop something and try to get Reg, I'm shooting for it. I'm sure I'm shooting out either Reed or I'm shooting out Snubby. It's one of those two. But I think that's kind of like what the plan is. I think that Jonah would probably go through. What he's kind of thinking. I just think that there needs to be change there for the Magic though. Is there anything you want to add on to this? We'll do one more team and then we'll kind of wrap things up.
yeah, I think you're right though. Like Matt had just on the only team that been here since the beginning and still haven't made the playoffs, so has have to do something.
hmm So, the next team that we're gonna say, can we fix it? Let's do. Will this episode be on YouTube? It will, but not right away. So the quickest way to watch is to make sure you subscribe up so you can watch it. It's all you can do in Amazon Prime. It's easy.
Yes.
But so can we fix it? Let's go Bucks edition. This is the other way. We're on the other side of the spectrum now. Can we fix it? All right. What would you do? Who are you retaining?
Retaining, definitely bringing Reg. I can shop Reg, Plondo, and damn, who the hell they got left?
Obviously, this roster's old because you've got two players.
Probably just those two, honestly. Yeah, Reg and
Because
Plondo.
you're not holding Cali. I don't think you're holding. Maybe some people say Alex. I don't agree with holding Spozo personally.
No, I won't. I won't keep them. I won't keep anybody except those two. And then I got to utilize my picks, man. I'm probably shipping Reg, and we're cleaning house.
Yeah. So you got Plondo and Reg. All right.
Mm.
You're going into the fall. You can possibly shop with you're favoriting trading with an expansion team to get a higher pick because I don't know where the expansion teams would have picks, but you're trying to get the highest possible pick you can for Reg. So it's teams like I don't know where Gen G will be, right? Like Gen G could have, like, it's all about who wins the lottery. Gen G needs a point guard. The Celtics are going to need a point guard. Hang on, I'll keep going through teams. Another team that needs a point guard. The Lakers are probably going to have top 3 pick. I think that if I'm the Bucks, I'm pushing Reg hard to the Lakers and seeing what they're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's the first phone call. That's the first team I call and say, what do you guys want to do? We got Reg, who was a former Rookie of the Year. Still had a pretty good analytic year, just a bad team around him. You guys already have some stars there. We can give you Reg. Give us your first overall. Give us that pick, like that top 3 pick. You know what I mean? And I think you're getting pretty good value. I mean, maybe if you want to add more pieces to it, maybe you want to add like a second round pick, first and second for Reg. You know what I mean?
Or future. The Bucks already going to get a good pick. So if you trade pick for pick, they're probably sitting at like 3rd and 5th pick.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this depends where the Lakers stand. If the Lakers are at 5, it's a little different. I would try to get another asset out of it.
You think Bucks trade to Lakers for Reg for a pick if they're still in the league?
They're going to still be in the league. But I think that'd be a good. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad. I don't know about straight up. I feel weird with just get all you got of Reg is a top. I mean, if it's a top 3 pick, it's a little different. I would first offer on the table, be like, hey, let's get that. Like, let's do a 2-for-2 trade.
I think Reg is worth any pick in the draft, except for maybe one. Yeah. I think Reg right now, Reg is probably better than any guy we got coming in.
Yeah, so that's why.
I'm cool with trading Reg for any pick.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, would you trade your first this year and first next year for Reg? So basically,
first this year and next. Oh yeah, I don't know.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is the extent? Because we've seen superstars get traded in this league, but it's hard to get the full value out of a superstar.
You know it's like the fab pick with the Celtics.
You can't like
kitchen sink for them.
Look what they got for Fab. You know what I mean? So what is Reg? Like, what can you get for a Reg in the world? You know what I mean? Like, I think, if I'm a catch team, they're talking about sending first pick for Reg. I think that's a trade that you conversate later on. You don't do that in the expansion in the fall. You wait until the springtime. You wait till the springtime, like when you have a better idea of what the top 5 talent's going to be like. Because, like, all right, if I'm the Bucks, I trade for that pick, and there's no freaking way I'm going to ever get like Johnny Red or Zay. Then why am I trading for that pick? You know what I mean? Because that's really essentially what you're trying to do. You're trying to get one of the best players in the draft and trading away. You're trading away Red to try to get one of the best players in the draft. That's your goal. You know what I mean? So my goal is to try to get Johnny Red or Zay there, right? You know what I mean? Or maybe some other player comes up in pre-draft. You know what I mean? You're trying to get that star level player to replace Reg. But I do think that you giving Reg gives them so think about it. The Lakers, they have Reg, Reese, and Crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not bad. I think that you have that 3 core. I think that the Lakers are fine with it. I honestly think the Lakers would probably give you that other first round, just because then they're going to secure their core. That's what this league's about, right? Getting your big 3 together. And once you got your big 3, I mean, shit, man, you're looking at, a dynasty. Like that's what the Wizards are looking at. That's what the T-Wolves are looking at. They got their big 3s. And that's what the Warriors were like trying to do. They were trying to get a superstar big 3. You get you get the PG, you got a lock, and then you got a center. You know what I mean? And Gradient's he's a unique player. You know what I mean? So but you get 3 really good players on your team, and you go and try to win a title. That's the goal, because you're not ever going to be able to consistently hold together the same 5 people. So you're going to have to just. It's all about big 3s in this league. So you look at every team. Like, look at the Pistons. They got their big 3 now. You got Rainbow, you got Radiant, and then you got Greenlight. You know what I mean? And then you just keep recycling small forward and power forward, whoever you go. You know what I mean? But look, you don't need a high pick either to build that strong team. So if you getting Reg on the Lakers, you become an automatic. You can become a playoff team. You know what I mean? You change your destiny just getting Reg. So I think that the pick is a lot more higher than you would estimate it to be. I think you should be getting more. I think you should get that current first. I think you should get a future first. But again, put your picks in, right? So okay, all right, you have Reg. We get this year's first, we get next year's first. We'll give you this year's second. You know what I mean? So then you get I don't know, so where would the Bucks? Oh well, the Bucks would have an early pick, so it's tough. Maybe You know,
I
maybe
would say, if I'm the Lakers, I'm shipping first round and then next
yeah,
first round.
yeah,
If Reese and Crazy commits to me and are like,
yeah,
hey, yeah, we're gonna stay in LA and like just help us get some talent, I'm like, bet.
yeah.
I would ship that out for Reg,
Yeah,
honestly.
because I think that you're building a great big three. Because the Bucks are in
Mm.
rebuild, right? They don't have anybody. Let's be honest. Like they don't got anything. They don't have a Crazy or Reese on their team. They don't have those other core players. Like they're not looking for that last puzzle piece. They're looking for an entire rebuild, like the Celtics, right? Like you're looking if you're a Bucks GM, you're looking at like, all right, season 5 is probably going to be rough. Let's be real. You know, there's like at this point, unless you can really like unless you can get multiple firsts, like you know, what I mean, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, you got to finesse.
You really do. So I mean, that's why I'm saying like when it comes to the Lakers, I mean, I don't hate it as a Laker. You know what I mean? Because I know what I'm getting out of Reg. You know what I mean? But it depends what pick I have. You know what I mean? It depends. Do I trust Johnny Red or do I trust Reg? And I mean, I think most people at this point would say Reg, but who knows? Johnny Red can come in to be another 630, right? He can come in
Right.
and be a dog, which it's you know.
Hard to say until they load up. Honestly,
But
it's tough.
you know you can take the reassurance early on. So I
Yeah,
mean it's tough. How many
I'll take
players
the risk.
can you retain? So currently right now it's probably going to be 3, but it depends if we have on expansion teams. So there's been conversation that
Yeah,
if we
protection is 3, I think, and
yeah
then
no it's 3. So
retainment is 4.
yeah you can retain up to 4. But here's the thing, so like there's rosters that are going to want to keep their whole 5, right? So the key to it, like if you're an expansion team, is to basically take their player and trade for their first and stack up on first rounds. But anyway, like I said though, when it comes to the Bucks, it's just it really does just key in on like trading Reg. You know what I mean? That's what it's going to all come down to. You're rebuilding. Season 5 is not going to be good. You're not looking at season 5 as like if you make a playoff team with that Bucks team in season 5, coach of the year. You know what I mean? Like you're
X.
that's why like I give like Cody really good like Cody literally took a team from the dirt and put them to the top. So people got to realize how impressive that is. Yes, he had a high pick, but he made the right pick. You know what I mean? He missed every year and he finally hit it, and he hit it. He's the number 2 seed right now. You know what I mean? So, I mean that's it. I would say for the Bucks. Do you want to do one more team and then we'll kind of close it up?
We can do one more, but that's gonna be it.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with
Fresh.
one more team. Is there any team in mind that you would like to do before we as a last team?
Man,
We can do Cavs.
Click,
You want to do Cavs?
click.
Legion?
Hey, actually, Cavs is not bad. Let's do Cavs.
Let's do Cavs Legion. Can we fix it, Yay? Yay, who are you retaining? I think it's obvious, but tell me who you're retaining.
I'm only keeping Fab and Oreo going
Yep,
into it.
Yep, we're doing the same thing. So what are you making moves wise? Are we just waiting for the draft? Are we?
I think we're waiting. Honestly, I think we're waiting for the draft because I'm not gonna after all the shit I sent off for Fab. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
trade him.
You're not trading him. You're not trading Oreo. You're just waiting for the draft, right? That's it. Like
Yeah, and then with Oreo, it's really depending on is he gonna really commit to center or he's gonna go back to playing power forward.
center. You're keeping him at center. At this point, the center it's such a rarity to find guys to play center at this point that are going to stay in that top category. You're going to want to prioritize getting that shooting guard because then you have to go and find a center too. So I would say
That's true.
So
I think if he plays center or off draft, he can always slide the power forward.
There's-
through draft, he can always slide the power forward if need be.
there's a couple upcoming shooting guards in this draft pool that could really fit well with a team like. And again, maybe you decide you don't want any of those shooting guards. You could trade your first to go get one of these like teams that like maybe you want a J Money at shooting guard, or maybe you want a Reed at shooting guard. I don't know. Like you can flirt with that idea. I don't know if I would I don't know how I would feel about J Money, but like some people, that's a process that some people would think. There's a lot of people you can shop at the shoot, to try to get like a shooting guard.
Yeah, you can definitely shop somebody for sure. Like Kel Maverick. I don't even know Kel by my first round, but
Yeah, but
something.
I mean, there's just a lot of shooting guards out there that you can like in a way work it out. But I think that based off of that, though, I mean, I don't think there's too much to do with the Cavs. But I think that that's a good way to end this stream. I think that it's we've had a good stream. I enjoy everybody. Please make sure you guys go support my guy Yay. Let me actually put the YouTube. Listen, let's put the YouTube link in the chat real quick. Let me do that. I'll go. Let me show you guys Yay's content. Listen, this guy has been on steroids when it comes to content. I don't know what he's on. I don't know how he does all this content, man. But Guy's constantly uploading things, man. And you know what? It's not just like, you know, your normal content. He's like he's diving into like the X's and O's. He's really digging in. We'll do the Hawks another night. Tonight, I think that it's a good way to close off like this. Like I said, but I just want to go on the Yay Not Gaming. Look at that. Guys, listen, if you're in the stream right now, please, can we get Yay to 300 subscribers? I know we have 30 people in here who can go sub to my guy Yay. So please, do me a favor. I'm going to put this link in the chat right now. I want everybody, all 27 people who are still in here, do me a favor. Appreciate the Prime sub, Matt. Listen, do me a favor. Go subscribe to my guy Yay. It doesn't matter, bro. Like, it's not like you have to spend money. It's free. Please, go subscribe to Yay Not Gaming. Please hit that subscribe button. And do me a favor. Go click on a couple of his videos. Even if you don't watch it, click the, like, help him out, man. Hit that like button. Like, look at this right here. Look.
Gotta get the algorithm going, man.
Gotta get that algorithms. Hit that Yay. Look, hit that like button. Help him out, man. Like I'm subscribed, man. What are you guys doing? You know what I mean? Like, let's do it, man. Let's help my guy Yay out. I better see this number move from 269. I'm going to remember this after the stream. If it don't move, guess what? I'm not uploading any more to the YouTube. I'm going to keep everything on Twitch where you got to pay for it. All right? So that's the deal. I better see at least 5. At least. I know I got 27 people in here, but we got to at least get that. But listen, man. Yay, I appreciate you. Is there any final things you want to say before we get off stream?
I'm going to put out something tomorrow. Try to do like a Q&A type of deal to where like anybody can ask me any kind of question. We're going to, of course, we're going to keep it rated R, but not rated X. So like I'm going to put something out on Twitter tomorrow. You know, it's kind of late to put it out now. You're able to ask me any question, Q&A, and then I'm going to make a YouTube video about it and have a little fun, you know, just try to spice things up a little bit while everybody's trapped inside their rooms and or things are kind of dry and, you know, Prime and 2KLeague and, you know, have a little fun. So that's all I got. Appreciate you having me again.
Again, listen, I appreciate it. I think that, you know, you're one of the few people that really dives into this content end of things. I think that I think it made sense for us to really work together and to kind of sit here and talk about it. And you're not afraid to say things, you know. That's my one thing about a lot of people is you're just like, I don't care, man. I'm going to speak my mind on things. I think that's important. Again, you do keep it limited on some things. You are careful with some things, but you like I said, you're not afraid though. You will speak on some truths. You're not afraid to tell the truth, and I think that that's important for a lot of people. But anyway, I appreciate you coming on here, Yay. I'm about to host somebody, guys. Please, I'm about to go host my guy Spam. Please do me a favor. Go show him some support. Hit that sub button for him. Listen, I appreciate all you guys. I hope that we have amazing playoffs this weekend. Next week, next Monday, every Monday I'll be doing a show. Next week we're gonna have my guy Demon JT jumping on stream with us. So it's gonna be me, maybe Yay. I don't know. We'll see. I gotta see if Yay's available. We'll see. But we're gonna be the three of us. We're gonna be talking about basically, you know, the post playoffs because we're gonna get the playoff action and we're gonna be kind of coming back on the back end, kind of talking about what we think. But anyway, we'll talk more.